I'll be the first to admit, I'm looking at these bases. It's getting to me. I like it.
They're huge.
Big ass bases.
Is that bonk?
I don't think so.
I know. I just like
turned on by the bases.
No,
those are big ass bases.
Do I have to go to a stadium and fuck a base now?
Yeah, I think you might want to.
Pardon my take. YouTube, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Best podcast in the world. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
On today's Pardon My Take, we got a twofer for the people. Little something different. Two very funny comedians in studio. Tom Segura first, and then we have Pete Holmes after Tom. Two great interviews. We're also going to talk about the Masters opening day, Fyre Fest of the week. All of it is ready for you on a great Friday. And before we get to all that, Priceline. Priceline is a leader in online travel deals with deep discounts on flights, hotels, rental cars. If you're not using Priceline to book all those things, what are you doing? Because with Priceline, you can save up to 60% on your favorite hotels, and you can also get exclusive deals on car rentals, flights, and more. And when you save more, you can do more. Priceline saves customers and consumers more than $1 billion every year so that their customers never have to miss the moments that matter. Priceline knows that every trip is a big deal, so when you're ready to book your next one, check out Priceline. It's about to be summer. You're going to do some traveling. You're going to do some booking at different hotels, maybe car rentals. There's nothing better than getting a great deal and knowing that you can use that extra cash for your vacation. And that's what Priceline does for you. Visit Priceline.com to get more, to get the most out of your trip today. Priceline.com to get the most out of your trip and make sure that you are having that extra cash you can use on vacation this summer. Priceline.com. Check it out today. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by Priceline.com. Go check it out right now. Get more out of your trip. Hotels, flights, car rentals, all at Priceline.com. Today is Friday, April 8th, and Tiger Woods is officially back.
He looks awesome today, too. Now, I think he's, like 4 shots back at the lead?
Who cares?
Who cares? He's in that perfect position where when he's tied for, like, 10th or 11th place, they still show his name on the leaderboard as being the first person in the group of, like, 40 guys that's one under.
Yeah.
So he's in and around the leaderboard. The pink shirt that he's wearing right now, the mock turtleneck, short sleeve, tight shirt, people are going nuts over. And you're going to see a lot of guys that try to pull off this look that Tiger's got right now. And it's only Tiger that can pull this off. If you or I showed up, it would look like we got like a big tube of cookie dough that got left out in the sun for 3 days.
Spilling out of it would be the word I would use. But yeah, no, it's Tiger Woods. Even if you're not like I have conflicting feelings of Tiger Woods over the years, but once he's out there playing at Augusta, you get swept up. Like immediately you become a huge Tiger Woods fan. He is probably one of the only athletes who has that ability to do to any person who casually likes golf, diehard golf fan, anyone. You see Tiger, he's making incredible shots, he's back in the mix, and all feels right with the world.
So people were saying earlier today that there's a lot of like Tiger haters out there, people that root against Tiger Woods. I don't really think that there's that many people that root against Tiger Woods.
No.
I think that when he gets out there, like you said, and he plays, everyone really hopes he wins. There's some people that, maybe hoped for a while when it was like Phil Mickelson or Sergio Garcia that were starting to be like the big competitors to Tiger. We were rooting for all those guys just because we hoped it would make Tiger Woods play better, so that we could root for him harder.
I think it's also he's in that I don't want to say twilight of his career because who the fuck knows with Tiger Woods. I mean, he's amazing. Every time he's like on, it's just a joy to watch. But let's call it the twilight of his career. I think there's something different that happens in the twilight of your career when you're an all-time great, where people are going to appreciate you. Like how we appreciate LeBron on this podcast. Like that happens.
It's amazing what he's done. Like the fact that he's been in the league for 20 years, made the playoffs so many times, played in the Olympics so many times, and he's still out there willing his team to almost victories night after night.
I as a quick sidebar on LeBron, I tweeted that picture of him with the tweet that he tweeted. And people got really upset at me.
You were doing LeBron a favor.
And I was like, wait, I'm just posting his tweet that he told me to keep the same energy about. It was very bizarre. Like, I wasn't saying anything pointed. Obviously, I'm not a LeBron fan, but man, the LeBron stands came out fast. And they were very, I think it was maybe just because the Lakers lost, what was it, Tuesday night, late Tuesday night, to officially be out of the playoffs. And all the LeBron fans and Lakers fans. No, Hank, no. I'm sorry. They're not.
Wait,
not even in the
they're not even
There's 10 teams that make the playoffs,
no,
right?
Hank, I'm sorry.
Even though the Lakers are 30-24 this year?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. It was.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I think all the LeBron fans woke up the next day on Wednesday and being like, we have to defend this man to the ends of earth, which I respect. I always respect going to bat for your guys, but all I did was repost his tweet.
Well, we're respecting his wishes. This was a request from past
Please. It was
LeBron
all caps,
to hold
please.
future LeBron accountable for past LeBron's words.
Yes.
And we respect past LeBron almost as much as future LeBron, so our hands were tied. We had to do it. But
I'll say something nice about LeBron. He has waited till the perfect time to miss the playoffs because this, like if he missed the playoff, let's say 6 years ago, there would be a hole in the playoffs. Like, oh man, it sucks that LeBron. I'm excited about the NBA playoffs with or without LeBron because there's so many good young players and so many great young teams that good job, LeBron. You waited until the league was in great hands and then you bowed out.
much like Bruce Arians, LeBron decided
Correct.
that now was the time to step away from the game and put the spotlight on some up-and-coming players that might not be able to get that much attention if LeBron was still around dominating the conversation. I'm also excited to see which teams LeBron snuggles up to as the playoffs proceed.
Oh, he's
Which
already
ones
starting.
I know, because he's going after
Steph.
Curry. He's
Yeah.
like, man, it'd be a dream to play with that guy. It's going to be fun to see which teams I'll just spoiler alert, it's going to be the teams that win.
Yep.
That LeBron's going to be like, man, imagine if I was on that team.
I'll just call my shot right now. He's going to become the biggest John Morant fan, baby Bron. Because, John Morant will do something insane in the playoffs, and he'd be like, holy shit, this guy, I'd love to play with him. Can we get him traded to the Lakers? It would be funny, though, if LeBron, the clip of LeBron saying he wanted to play with Steph and Steph reacting to it, it'd be funny if LeBron went to the Warriors because we found out, oh, there we go. Cubs just hit the first home run of the season. It would be funny to watch LeBron be second fiddle to Steph because that's what happens in Golden State. Steph is the man. We saw it with Kevin Durant, who is a better basketball player than Steph. But guess what? It's Steph's team. So I would like that.
What if LeBron went to the Nets?
That would be funny too.
That would be very funny.
I think wherever he goes next.
I think if LeBron, if he's mature enough, he can decide to go to the Nets, swallow his pride, come off the bench. Be like the sixth guy, get out there and provide a spark. If LeBron does that, I would actually respect him. Now, there's no chance in hell.
No.
I think that he would ever do that.
That was a sidebar, LeBron. We kind of got away from ourselves. Masters, the Tiger's
yes.
back. It feels good. Now, we are being positive about Max Homa.
I thought he had the most fun of anybody out there today.
Well, I was going to say, I'm positively pissed off that he bogeyed 18.
Okay. I thought that
you fucking bum.
I thought Max did okay. He had a smile on his face the entire time. He was behind the 8 ball coming out there today after what happened to him at the par 3 contest.
Yeah.
Where he had a pin in one, which many people are saying is more difficult to pull off than a hole in one. He hit the pin, but because Dude Perfect and Bryson DeChambeau went out there and stomped all over God's creation and ruined some of the undulations in the green, he didn't actually get the hole in one. So he's probably feeling a little pissed off that he didn't get credited with that. But he's still in it. Max is still in it.
He's still in it. We're still and update, by the way, for the spreadsheet, we decided we put it all on all $50 of winnings and also the initial investment of $2,000 on Max to be top 30 in the tournament. Now, Billy wanted to do just a hand of blackjack. This actually is... I had one year where I lived very close to Wrigley, and we sold. We had a parking spot, and we sold parking for Wrigley, and me and my roommates put all the money on a week 1 bet, and we just lost it all. So it was like, oh, we did all that for nothing. This kind of feels like it could be similar, where it's like we pumped ourselves up, and it's a big group bet, and we're all saying we, and then Max is not even going to make the cut. I'm staying positive. But Billy, how are you feeling?
I had a thought last night.
Okay.
I had a thought, and I was like, what if I just kept the money and just didn't put a bet in It was a thought fleeting. It fled,
Mm-hmm.
and I put the bet in, but we'd still have the money.
Did that thought occur to you as long ago as like before the NCAA tournament? It would have been way easier for you to just not put any of that money in
And just give us
and
$50.
You seriously could have just lied to us the entire time and put up fake spreadsheets like accounting fraud and been like, okay, here's where we're at, and then just given us $2,050 back, and we'd be very happy.
Billy Madoff.
That would have actually been so much easier than what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
just fakes a bunch of returns.
That's the last time you'll ever work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Billy just realized what a Ponzi scheme is.
But I do think, though, that Brooks is in a good position going out there later on in the day once the course is softened up a little bit.
Yeah.
His fresh legs getting out there. I think that it's nice for him that Bryson's really the big story. We should have let off with Bryson DeChambeau today. Shot 4 over par.
He's 3 over now.
3 over par. Well, no, that would be 8 over par.
That's
because
true.
he says it's
67.
a par 67. Bryson's absolutely shitting himself out there on the course today. So I'm just going to guess conservatively that Brooks goes 2 under par today.
Yeah. 2 under par.
2 under par.
Wait, 67?
2 under the normal person's
Okay,
par,
all right. I
not
was
the
gonna say,
not the steroid par.
That would be awesome if he went 65.
Well,
on everyone's face.
I'll be pleasantly surprised if that happens.
Yeah, so the Masters, I mean, this probably has never happened before where the Masters and opening day is the same day. Great sports day. We needed one after it had been almost 3 days since we had a major event.
This really is the perfect sports day for dads.
Yeah.
I bet you that there's some dads out there that took today off, mowed the lawn in the morning, then came in and watched the Masters and baseball all day.
Had a hot dog, had a beer. Baseball is back. Do we want to do our World Series predictions? We never did that. We should do it. Baseball is back. I'll say, oh, man.
There's a lot of teams out there, Big
There's
Cat.
a lot of teams. The Dodgers feel like they should be good again.
The Dodgers will be good again.
It's going to take me a few weeks to get into baseball mode.
They're the NL team with the most consecutive playoff appearances.
That's a fun fact.
The Dodgers versus the Mariners. Dodgers win.
I'm going to go...
You like that? Mariners haven't
Yeah.
made the playoffs in 20 years.
I'm going to go Phillies in the World Series.
Oh, I like that shit. I forgot about the Phillies.
I like the
They're
Phillies.
the NL team that hasn't made the
Schwarber.
playoffs in the longest amount of time.
Yep.
Which is crazy, 'cause
Man,
they won a
Hank,
World
just
Series, yeah.
fun fact on top of fun fact.
Might have been dozen questions I was on recently.
Oh.
So, I like the Phillies a lot. They have the rating MVP, who's also on the Seamhead Express, I might add, Bryce Harper.
And they have Castellanos.
They've got
and
Castellanos.
they have Schwarber.
Yep, good team. A lot of sluggers.
Dingers.
I'm just going all sluggers this year. I think it's going to be the Phillies against the Padres in the World Series. Big Cat.
Okay. Well, that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
I just think those are the two best teams.
Right.
So they're going to face each other in the NLCS, and then the
Then they
winner
get
of
in
that
the World
I'm
Series.
gonna say is the real World Series champion. But no, out of the AL, you know what?
Lot of teams.
I really think this is the year the Yankees get it done.
A lot of
I think
teams.
it's going to be the Yankees.
So the Astros.
There we go. The
So
Astros.
yeah.
The Astros. Hank, give us your World Series prediction.
I'm thinking the Reds.
Okay.
Good
Yep,
rebuild.
good pick,
Good
good
rebuild.
pick.
You know, they
Great
got a lot of
Yep.
assets. They got rid of the fat and they kept some of their better players.
Tons of cap space.
Tons of cap space, tons of potential, a lot of room for the prospects to really play to their potential.
That's
This
true.
This is a great Major League Baseball preview.
There's no
by
log
us.
jam. There's no log jam in the Reds organization. If they get a good player, they can come right up.
Yep. We will have someone. We'll have a guest on in the next week or so to talk MLB. Maybe Dan Herron will be back.
What about the Orioles, Hank?
You want to do the
I
Orioles?
was actually thinking of Orioles.
People are
Baltimore.
mad about that wall,
Baltimore.
though. They're mad about that left field wall.
What's going on with the wall?
They changed it. So they moved it out, I want to say. Hey, Jake, you can double check. And they also raised it, which makes no sense. I don't really understand.
That's you know what that is. It's just literally the Orioles being like, our pitching is so bad
Right.
that we have to change we have to build that wall to keep all the home runs contained within it.
Let's go Tigers.
Maybe also taking away some seats so that it's less capacity. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, Javi Baez, Tigers.
Miggy.
Can you find it, Jake? What exactly they did?
The wall was raised from just over 7 feet
Yeah.
to 13 feet.
And did they move it back?
Libcat.
Internet.
Build that wall.
You're anti-wall.
No, I'm pro this wall.
But you're saying people are mad about the wall.
People are mad about
it. It is
the
a
wall.
big, beautiful wall like no
It's
one's ever
a
seen.
gorgeous wall.
Jake's fighting a paywall right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hate that
Jake.
wall.
He's fighting through.
Jake.
Jake's hitting the back wall.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Back about 30 feet.
30 feet. That's crazy.
That's a crazy change to
Yes.
a ballpark, especially. I
That'll
used to
make baseball more fun.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
hey, what should we do? Less stingers?
Well,
cool.
they did make the bases bigger, which I'll be the first to admit. I'm looking at these bases. It's getting to me. I like it.
They're huge.
Big ass bases.
Is that a bonk?
I don't think so.
I know. I just like
Getting turned on by the bases.
No, I just.
Those are big ass bases.
Do I have to go to a stadium and fuck a base now?
Yeah, I think you might want to.
I will. I'll fuck a
I'll put a
base.
question mark next to it.
Yeah,
It does feel if you want to fuck a
Yeah.
base.
I'll get to third base.
There's more to hold on to now.
I'll just lick the base.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Billy?
Yankees, Braves.
Oh,
Yankees, back
Yankees,
to back.
Braves.
Yankees in 6.
Classic.
Yankees is 6. All right, then Jake, why don't you finish us off with a nice?
White
Well, let's
Sox.
make sure we cover every team.
White Sox.
Okay. Jake's taking this seriously. He's
Well, I
looking.
want to.
Yeah, you want to be right. You want to be right.
I don't want to. Well,
After
Yeah, you
what
do wanna
happened
be
in
right.
New Orleans.
Yeah, try to be right.
all right. White Sox, Phillies.
Okay, we got
good
2
pick.
Phillies.
I really do like the Phillies. I'm kind of joking about the Yankees because they're obviously going to win like 90 games
Yankees?
and then they'll lose in the playoffs. But I like the Blue Jays too.
Yeah.
I like
no
the
one said
Jays.
Mets.
I parlayed the Yankees and Mets team total unders.
Oh, okay.
The Mets, not a great start. It is the most Mets thing of all time that before the first pitch of the first game, their 2 aces are
Yeah.
both out with like questionable shoulders.
I think Scherzer's going to start game 2 though.
Oh,
So
he is?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
New York City as a sports town is a joke.
It's
The entire time we've lived here, it's been a joke.
It's been like that for like a decade.
I know.
I think it was the first decade in the history of New York that no team won a championship.
New York FC.
Yeah, no one.
Not
I'm
real.
saying
Real
last
sports.
decade.
Real sports.
Yeah,
Um,
and real sports.
Memes
I thought
remains.
they were the Red Bulls.
No, there's 2.
They're the ones that play in
course
the
there's
Yankee
2.
Stadium with that, and they have that little banner that looked like a tablecloth.
Now, Memes is very hopeful though that like every free agent wide receiver that's becoming available is going to want to go to the Jets.
Why
And
wouldn't they?
Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel actually removed the logo of the
saw that.
49ers from his Instagram bio today. So
Trouble in paradise.
Another this league.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if the Niners just removed his name from the website, just like going back at the player.
Yeah.
All right, let's play
Tit
this
for
game.
tat. Yeah, take away his locker.
And then DK might be on the trading block as well. I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore in the NFL. This league never sleeps, guys.
No,
It's
it's
king.
crazy. Everyone wants to move everywhere. And when's the draft? Coming up in a couple weeks? It's like 2
I
weeks.
feel like it's like April 17th to 19th.
no,
28th to
28th.
30th.
There we go.
And
That was
it's
a guess.
in Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas. That's when we'll get back into it. But yeah, this is it's a nice sports day. The Masters. I'm excited. We'll hopefully have our good friend Scott Van Pelt on Monday.
Talk about Tiger's win.
Yep. Whoa, man! Imagine if Tiger won.
I'm just gonna say I think we have the power to do this. If Tiger wins the Masters, you all don't have to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Everyone that's listening to me right now, the day's off for all America. Congratulations. Take a day to celebrate Tiger.
Yes.
And if he doesn't make the cut, you have to take a driver's ed class.
Well, Darren Ravel, I think, has to get in a cage with a tiger, which he'll fucking skate out of that one. Imagine if he actually had like a suicide bet for Tiger to win. Tiger would then become the most beloved athlete of all time.
He would get in a cage, in a smaller cage inside a bigger cage.
Yeah.
So you could say that technically
Or-
he was in a cage with a tiger.
Or the tiger will be so well fed that it'll be sleeping.
Maybe
Ugh.
maybe a dead tiger.
Oh,
Maybe he'll kill it.
yeah.
Or bore it to death by telling him
Yeah.
lame anecdotes and then
or
step into the cage.
Showing all of his memorabilia. What are you going to say, Billy? You had that thought in your face.
Well, maybe he just gets in a cage with Tiger Woods.
I don't think Tiger
Tiger
Woods
would
wants to
not.
be anywhere near him.
Tiger would probably fuck him to death if they got into a cage together.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't want Tiger doesn't want anything to do with him. All right, great Friday. I mean, it's a great sports weekend. Best nap of the year.
Yep.
Saturday and Sunday.
Would you say Saturday's nap's better or Sunday? I think Sunday is like tier 1 nap.
I think Saturday's better just because Sunday you kind of have to pay attention if it's like heating up. You know what I mean? Like if it's good and there's a few guys in contention, you don't really want a nap. That's more like a 10-minute nap. Saturday you can go like hour and a half.
There's also the raise and pitch and cadence of Jim Nance's voice very slightly on Sunday because he's a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
When he says Imagine Dragons, it comes out a little bit, more splash and pizzazz on it.
Everything feels a little bit more tense. But I'm happy that Augusta's back. All right, let's do our interviews. We got Tom Segura first, then Pete Holmes second. Two great comedians on today's show, and we're brought to you by our friends at Muggsy's. Muggsy's is the most comfortable men's jeans on the planet, built with a proprietary stretch denim. These jeans have the perfect fit, and they feel like you're wearing sweatpants. I wear Muggsy's all the time. Don't sacrifice style for comfort. One Muggsy customer said, I used to hate jeans, now I don't. That was probably me. These jeans are literally changing people's lives. Free your balls from the old ways of constricting denim and slide into some buttery soft Muggsy's. The same dudes that brought us the world's most comfortable jeans are also your one-stop shop for chinos, shorts, tees, and hoodies. These jeans are the perfect gift for the friend or man in your life who could use a little comfort pick-me-up. Go to Muggsy.com. Use code TAKE for 10% off the most comfortable jeans. That's Muggsy.com. Code TAKE for 10% off your entire order. Free your balls once and for all with Muggsy.com and code TAKE. I've been telling people to get Muggsy. I know our good friend Tom Fernelli has actually become a Muggsy guy. He said it's changed his life. There you go. Muggsy.com. Use code TAKE for 10% off the most comfortable jeans. Okay, here he is, Tom Segura. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. We've been circling for a while. Finally here. That's our fault, by the way.
Please.
It's Tom Segura. You can find him anywhere he's got a podcast, Your Mom's House. He does a podcast with Bert Kreischer. He's on tour right now.
Yep.
So you're coming everywhere tour, right? No,
I'm coming everywhere.
you're
yeah.
coming everywhere tour.
Yeah.
You where I think we're gonna run this next week after the national championship, but where are you stopping on the tour so we can get people to come out?
It is an overwhelming, daunting schedule. So when you say like, where are you going? I'm like, do you have time to list
Do it all.
200 cities? I don't know.
You're doing 200 cities?
more.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
How long is this tour?
It started in August of 21 and it ends in April of 23.
That you're just talking about life now. You're just talking about like you live on the road.
Kind of. And I have kids.
What?
And like they remind me.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're our dad." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I know."
That's a tough conversation to have with. I imagine like I don't have kids of my own, but
Yeah.
Having your own child be like, "Hey, are you still my father?"
Yeah.
must be like a real humbling experience.
I can tell like when things are good, like because when I come home, sometimes they're like, "Dad," and I'm like, "Hey," and then sometimes I come home and they're like, "Hey," and I'm
He's
like,
back.
"Oh,
Wait,
shit."
how old are your kids?
6 and 3.
Okay, yeah, because
The age they need you the most.
Right, I have a 2.5-year-old
Yeah.
and a 10-month-old, and I'm struggling with the like. We went on the road for March Madness a couple weeks ago. I come back. I'm sure you feel this. I'm sure every parent knows this. You come back and like my 2.5-year-old son is like, I'm kind of off you. Like, where
Yeah.
have you been?
Yeah.
So then the last 2 weeks, I built it back up, and we're like best friends again. And now I have to go to New Orleans tonight, and it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, all this building we've done.
Do you bring shit back?
I do. I bring gifts.
Yeah. Every time, like when I walk in the house, sometimes I'm like, "Hey guys," and like just expecting like a dad moment, and right away they're like, "Do you have surprises for us?" And I'm like,
Do you have gifts?
I go, "Yeah," and then I don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Where are they?" I go, "They're being shipped. They were so big, I had to fucking ship them." And they're like, "Oh, when are they getting here?" I'm like, in the next few hours, I think." Yeah. And then I'm like, "Go buy something."
Do you live in Austin?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a pretty decent. I think it's a Cinnabon in the airport, right? You can pick up some Cinnabon on the way back,
Bro.
Be like, "Look what Daddy brought."
You may have just changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of stuff in that airport that's like they're gonna have just a billion Keep Austin Weird T-shirts that you pick up at the very last minute.
Yeah, I should start. But the thing is, once like your kid's 2.5.
He's going to be 3 in June.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what happens is like after they turn 3, because my guy 3-year-old's almost 4, and then I got the 6-year-old. They really like. There's an age where you can give them anything. You're like, "This is a sticker," and they're like, "Yeah." They don't know, but once they start to like get their preferences down, like I'll come home. One time I bought. My little one likes cars, and the older one doesn't. But I bought 2 toy cars, and the older guy goes, "I don't like cars. He likes cars." And he just threw it on the ground, and I was like, "Oh." He's like, "Where's shit that I like?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man."
But Cinnabon.
Cinnabon, yeah. Treats.
That's a depressing thing, though, to do, and I've done it as someone who likes to eat, but like getting food when you land in the airport.
Yeah.
And you're like going to a hotel, and you're like, I'm just going to pick up some McDonald's while I'm leaving the airport.
Yeah.
That's a rock bottom move.
It feels depressing. I mean, last week I did Vegas and landed in Austin drunk, and I was like, "Hey, man, like we got to get food. Like we have to."
Right
So I
now.
go to Starbucks and you start buying like breakfast sandwiches,
Yep.
multiples. They're like, "How many people are?" I'm like, "It's just me. I I need multiple sandwiches right now.
You ever get that, like, the sad cold container where it's got like a hard-boiled egg that's been sliced in half?
Uh-huh.
And
Three
then maybe,
grapes.
Yeah, it's got the grapes in there all the time. Maybe a slice of cheese.
I think
if
it's
you're
called
lucky.
a protein box.
Yeah.
Yeah, the protein box. It's just like the worst shit that doesn't go with anything else.
Yeah, it smells. It really smells. They should call it the fucking stink box because you open it and it's just like it smells like eggs and cheese.
Yes.
But that's it's very, very exciting to go on a tour. But I feel like what you're doing right now, is it even a tour?
That's
I
crazy.
think it's just like you are constantly just doing shows.
Yeah, you know what happened? This is what happened. And my agent's here, and he's probably watching in the green room. This motherfucker, he called me during the pandemic, right? So you're at home. I'm used to being a comic that tours regularly, like meaning like every couple weeks. You know, you're doing gigs, and you're home, right? You're home that first month and that second month, and then it turns into like there's no touring. Remember, touring shut down,
Right.
So it's like a few months in, he's like, I think we should get ahead and start locking down dates for when things open up. And you're like, yeah. So you're sitting at home and they're like, how about this offer? Because that's the way it comes. You get an offer, right? You want to do the Beacon and you want to do the Hulu? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, how about the next day, Newark? You're like, yes. And how about, and they start, and you're sitting at home. So everything that comes in, instead of like thinking rationally, you go like, yeah, dude, I'm not working.
Right.
Like, book it all.
It's all theoretical.
And then this is how you end up with a 2-year tour.
And then all of a sudden, you show up to August, and you're like, wait, what's going on? And they're like, you're about to do 400 shows. And you're like, oh, my God.
So how does that work in terms of the material? Do you have to change things up a lot, or is it like, okay, you're
think-
going to do the same material for this month, then you'll go home, write a little bit, come out, do something different?
Now, it happens a little, like, it doesn't happen as calculated. So at first, you're building it, and then you're doing it. And then you start to feel like, all right, like I have it set. But then you, as the person performing it, get bored because you get bored of the jokes.
Telling the same story, yeah.
And just like organically, you'll start to drop. You'll drop one night. Someone will be like, "Hey, you didn't do that bit," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm just not." And then you'll automatically replace it with something new. So like if you see the show tonight and then you see it in 6 months, you'll be like, "You dropped this, this, and this, and then you added this," and it just happens like throughout the course of a tour.
Can you tell like almost instantly if it's a good crowd or not? Like almost like, okay, this is gonna be a great night because the crowd is giving me energy.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
it's not a foolproof thing. Sometimes a crowd is so hot, it's almost overwhelming at the top of a show that like they've burned themselves out with their like the hype. You know what I mean? Like they're so excited. You're like, this is amazing, and then it just like there's this slow wind down, and you're like, hey, I thought we were good with each other.
Yeah, that we're having an awesome night.
And then sometimes you start slow and it goes. But I think there's this thing where if you say something when you open a show, like out of the gate, you just come out and you say something off the top of your head and it gets a laugh, it almost changes the energy of everything. If it's organic, like truly off the top of your head, that almost sets you up for a great show every time.
Wow. I never like so do you try to do that every time? Like it's not a planned joke. It's just this is what it is.
It's like Jeff Tate calls it riff energy, where you just like go out there and you just say whatever.
Look at this fucking guy.
Anything that's happening, like current event, like you just like say it.
Right.
Like I did this show in Topeka, Kansas a couple weeks ago, and the Westboro Baptist Church was there, the people that protest,
Yeah.
And so talking about them, they're just outside. The audience saw them, and they're also like kind of national. Everyone kind of knows about them.
There, yeah.
So I talk about them for like a couple minutes. It's just like it was pandemonium in the room, and then your show is just like on this ride. You know what I mean?
That's a good cheat code.
I feel like they fell off though. The Westboro Baptist.
Man,
Church.
hey, let me tell you something, man. They're coming back. They're coming.
They
back.
are?
Yeah, they're dope, dude. They're gonna get.
They're gonna get.
Yeah.
They have a remix coming.
Dude, they have their 8th member now. They're growing.
You know what they need? They need to like collab with somebody that's hot right now because they had a moment there. I'd say
did.
like 2005 to 2015.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. I feel like maybe the pandemic hit them especially hard.
They did.
I think they need to go like Avengers with the circumcised people. Like
I
the
love
people
those
who walk
guys.
around with the red blotch in their pants.
Yes.
Like that's the kind of energy. If you get
I've
both
been
of them-
mutilated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Those type of crazies, put them together. They might be able to accomplish.
Well,
some things.
Westboro Baptist Church protests dead soldiers' funerals.
Yes.
So maybe we get involved in another little scuffle.
Yeah.
Internationally. And
Yeah.
Then you get punched.
They'll get their numbers
True
up.
scumbags.
Yeah.
The circumcised guy, I got into a debate with him one time outside the Super Bowl because he did have like the blood stain on his
Yeah.
crotch, and he was. I realized what he was so mad about. He thinks that his own dick sucks.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
was protesting. He's like, my parents took away 14 separate functions and sensations from my penis when they circumcised me. I was like, dude, just admit that you think your dick is bad.
You got a small dick.
He's
got a small dick.
Or I don't know if it's small. I think his dick, he just doesn't feel his own dick.
Yeah.
You know what? A guy like that, you need to be like, have you ever been with someone that doesn't have a gag reflex? Because it is remarkable.
You would not be doing this.
I remember this girl. It was Savannah, Georgia. It was 2002. And she let me touch the back of her throat with my fingers. And I was like, why are we using my fingers? And like, that'll really, like, it'll change your life.
So I have a question off of that. You do a podcast with your wife.
Yeah, she knows the story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that ever? I mean, it's a hilarious concept. I listen to it. It's like, it's great to watch two people who are married just be so open about everything. Has there ever been a moment where it's like, okay, that was like after the show, like, all right, let's not do that again?
Not about, so like, we've had moments where we're having an argument, but it's not because like I said something gross or shared. Like, she doesn't get mad about this kind of, like, this girl from this. It'll just be like regular marriage stuff,
Right.
Where like, what was that? That kind of thing where you're like, no, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
And then we stop because we go, it's not fun to do the show with combative
yeah.
energy. So we'll just stop recording. Talk. Wait, I just didn't know what you meant. Oh, okay. And we do our show. But like, as far as sharing some crazy like old sex story, I mean, I love upsetting her. Like, I feel like it's a thrill to see her get grossed out or something. So I always do that, and it works. Like, it's just, she's the kind of wife that you can tell those stories to.
Right.
And she's also a comic, so it's like,
Right.
she knows how to roll with stuff too.
It's a very cool concept. And then obviously your other podcast with Bert has got to
Bart,
be
yeah.
a different type of energy.
I mean,
Where has there ever been a time when you're just like, hey dude, like, just chill out, like you're
can
losing
I
it?
talk, you mean?
Or that?
Do I get to talk today? Yeah.
There is funny because we've had him on twice now in the last couple months, and people are like, he's such an awesome guest, and then like the 10th comment will be like, you guys weren't even on this show.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's funny because he is the sweetest. People don't know, this is the sweetest guy.
Yeah.
He's so fucking funny. He is really a remarkably funny dude. But like this, like his stream of, he doesn't even know sometimes like how he's being. You have to, like, I'll tell him I'll allow him to just overtalk me, and it's just for whatever reason, like it just works. I'm like, I'm not bothered. But if there's someone else, like, if we go to dinner, I'd be like, you have to let them talk. I would pull him aside. He'd be like, oh really? Because he's so unaware of himself.
Right.
Yeah. Are there places that I think we said when he was on the show that he's kind of like a gun. Like, he's fun to play with, but you have to be very cognizant about what environments you bring him into.
Oh, dude.
And who's around. Are there certain places that you have said, okay, this is not a Bert place?
Yeah, indoors. Like, yeah, dude. Last night I took him to dinner, and with Prima, with DJ Premier, and a bunch of people. And Bert was already, he had tied one on already. Like, we showed up, and I was like, how much have you had to drink? And then he just like starts, I think he finished like 4 bottles of wine to himself at dinner.
Jesus Christ.
And then he goes, we're just sitting around talking, shooting the shit, and he goes, hey, Primo. And I'm like, and he goes, I hope this isn't offensive. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, what are you going to say? And he goes, I just want to get something out before I black out. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
These are the worst qualifiers ever.
And I really, at this point, I'm like, well, you're already in. I don't know what you're about to do. And he just goes, it's just such an honor to have dinner with you. I'm like, that's what you fucking say before that?
That's
He's
perfect.
like, yeah, he's out of his mind, dude.
Yeah.
We should ask, how are you doing physically?
Physically, I'm doing well. I had a fucking nerve transfer.
Ooh.
It's pretty wild. They took a nerve from here, and they moved it here.
From your wrist to the back of your wrist.
Yeah, so you have 2 muscles and nerves underneath on the underside of your forearm that allow you to pronate, right?
Okay.
So one of them they figured out you don't need to do that.
Huh.
So they took it and they put it here where a nerve wasn't firing.
Is this because of the injury?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And they didn't know I needed that when I initially had surgery. So when I initially had surgery, they put a pin and screws in my humerus, like the upper part. And they're like, oh, your nerve stuff will just come back. That's the way it works. And at about 7 months in, they're like, hey, this thing's not firing right. Fuck. And then they did a surgery on my arm where the fucking surgeon, I was like, how? Like, this sounds like wild shit. And he's like, yeah, I've never done it before. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, it's a new procedure that this Brazilian doctor discovered. And I'm like, okay. And I'm having it done? Great.
That's wild. So you, like, that injury, and everyone has seen it.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me see it. But the, I always think, like, as an adult, when you get injured, it's such a different experience. Like, athletes get injured, but they know that injury is part of the game. When you're an adult, you get injured.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're going to send me something so gross. I actually love this shit. Wait, your phone went off.
Oh.
I love looking at, like, terrible injuries and horrific things.
Yeah.
So none of this, like, I watched your injury so many times.
Oh, yeah, everybody did.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my God.
That's fixing the nerve, though.
Awesome.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
All
fuck.
the way. See, I could watch this forever, Tom.
Yeah.
How many beers?
Like this and puke videos are just endlessly hilarious to me. But your injury. So when I saw it initially, and I was like, oh, my God. The worst part about this is, like, there's something about getting injured as an adult that, like, the shame and regret you have right after is so, like, all-encompassing. You're like,
Bro.
I just wish I hadn't done that.
There's so many there's so many little moments.
Yeah.
That become so vivid. Like that period of time. You know how you have memories of whatever during your life.
Right.
Some of them are like fuzzy. Some of them you're like, I remember that girl, or I remember that place we went. I remember that vacation. But like that time period from getting injured to like recovery is like it happened yesterday. It's like vivid memories, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember the week before, I've told this before, the week before, I'm in Oklahoma City and I'm doing the road and I have Josh Potter, who's a comedian, a friend of mine, with me. And I go, you know what we're doing, what Bert and I are doing next week to film we were filming this for our New Year's live show that we do. He's like, what are you doing? I go, we're going to do basketball. And we're walking from the hotel to this coffee shop. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. And he goes, ugh. Basketball? And I go, yeah, man, because I used to play a lot. I used to play high school basketball. I used to play club basketball. I did pickup games in college. I used to play pickup games when I got to L.A. I go, yeah, I used to play a lot of basketball, so I'm going to fuck him up. So that's why I picked basketball. And he goes, I don't know, man. He goes, basketball, that's how guys in their 40s get fucked up. Their knees, their Achilles. And I just went like, whatever. Like, but I was like, yeah, all right. And then we went and got coffee. I just remember it like so clearly.
Yes.
And then that day too, I remember jumping in my office. One of the guys was like, I bet you can't hit the ceiling. And I jump and I like smacked the ceiling and I landed and I was like, that felt weird.
Yes.
And then, but I didn't really say anything. I was like, that felt weird. And then playing, you know, just like, but we're having fun. That's
right.
the crazy. You're having a good time, not thinking you're doing something reckless or, you know, or stupid.
Yeah.
And just going up for that one and it feeling like a fucking gunshot. You know? It's wild.
It's the worst feeling though, because it really is like I said, like getting injured as an adult. You just know, like, hey, I'm an adult. I could just live the rest of my life just doing things where I don't get injured. Why am I doing this? Like last time I got very injured playing basketball, I hurt my back, and that same thing where it's like it tweaked, and I was like, oh, I'm fine, and played like an hour more pickup, and then 5 minutes after I finished, I couldn't move.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit where you're like, why would you do that?
Dude, and then like
why?
And Bert, you know, Bert was there.
Yeah.
And Bert goes like, I still remember him going, you okay, buddy? Right? And I'm sitting there with my arm facing the other way, behind my back. He goes, buddy? And I was like, call 911.
I guess it's good that it got caught on camera, though. It would have been
Yes,
such a waste
that's
if
true.
it wasn't filmed.
Telling that story not the same without, like, I remember telling when I'm in the house. First, I'm in the emergency room, and then I'm in another room in the hospital. When they're finally getting me ready for surgery, surgery is going to happen in like a day or two, right? But I'm in a regular, like my own room. This trauma surgeon comes in, and he's like, "So wait, like, how did this happen?" And I'm telling him, and he's like, "Okay." And I could see that he's like putting it together in his head, and then I go, "You know, I have it on video." And he goes, "I'm sorry, what?" And I go, "I have it on video from multiple angles." And he's like, "Why?" And I go, "Well, because we're filming it for this thing." He goes, "You know, I'd really like to see that." He goes, "I could show that to people." I go, "I think you'll just get the link. I think you'll see it."
Yeah, you'll see it everywhere.
And he's like, "Okay." And then I showed it to him, and I gave him my phone, and he goes, "Oh." And I go, "Wait, you're shrugging at that?" Like, he goes, "Yeah, that was terrible. I don't want to see that again."
That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
But it was, I mean, you'd have to say like a net, not good for your life, but good for your career.
I mean,
Everyone talked about
Yeah.
it for a while. Like it
They
was,
did.
It was big news on the internet.
I monetized it like I made millions of dollars off of it. but I also was like, people were like, yeah, I bet. I was like, well, dude, like if you go, hey, would you rather that not happen and
Yes.
give that money back? I'm like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Like,
Yes.
I think it's one of those things though where if somebody had asked you a hypothetical question 20 years ago,
Yeah.
like would you take X million dollars in
Yeah.
exchange for breaking 2 body parts on camera trying to play basketball? You would have said yes probably then, but then,
maybe. But if they were like, by the way, you'll also already be making millions of dollars, I'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay.
yeah, that's actually.
I think I'll put those aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't want to like make you relive it too much, but
Yeah.
I've wondered since I saw the video, if you disfigure 2 parts of your bodies
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah.
is there one that hurts more than the other?
It's a very
and if
good
so,
question.
does your brain
Great
only
question.
focus on that thing?
You're 100% correct. Yes. So what happened was I didn't even know for days that my leg hurt. Wow. Because the arm pain
Jeez.
was so substantial and so much more. And I asked that question in the hospital. I'm like, I don't even feel like my leg's injured. And they're like, you will. They're like, it's just that the arm pain, your brain picks.
It supersedes. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Okay. That's crazy.
So I was just like, oh my God, my arm is so fucked. And it was shattered.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, God damn. And they were just giving me fucking Dilaudid into my neck. I was like, give me more. It was just so amazing. I'm a big fan of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit is amazing.
Just-
I mean, that's medical heroin. And like, it makes you want to try heroin. It's so
Jesus.
It's tough to poop after though.
good. Bro.
Did you have some poop issues?
Yes. Yes. And then I also, when they fixed my arm and my knee started to hurt, I was like, God damn, that fucking hurts. And then they put a nerve blocker in your leg. So they inject you and it numbs that nerve. So
Holy
just
shit.
to like numb that pain. And yeah, I was fucking, oh my God, dude. I was having different nurses finger me and, give me suppositories. And
Right.
one of them put like her whole hand in this little Asian chick had these little fingers, and I was like, how much is in there? And she's like, well, I have small hands. I'm like,
Oh God.
she's like wiggling it around in there. But it was and I couldn't wipe, dude,
Yeah.
because like this was so fresh that I was like, how will I? And one guy actually came in and gave me wipes, and I had to tell him that he was going to wipe. And he was
Tough
like,
news,
He was
yeah.
like, what? And I go, no, I can't do it. And he was like, oh, like I saw him break. He was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
He's like part of the job. I mean, they didn't even offer a bidet
No.
or even an attachment to put on.
No,
there?
they're just like, people will help you. It was horrible. It was
Yeah.
really horrible.
Wait, so as you said it as a big fan of drugs, what's your favorite drug?
Dilaudid.
That. But
I mean,
not without
that-
the injury.
That is the greatest thing I've ever experienced. I mean, it was really.
That's crazy.
I remember when I got to the emergency room, I was with Bert. And,
Great guy to be with at that moment.
Oh, and he's, by the way, he's a germaphobe, and like, he doesn't handle high stress well. He was just like, he was sitting there, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, I just know that I love you. And I was like, thanks, buddy, I love you too. And then they're like, it's like trauma, right? I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. And the nurse comes in, and they had given me, I don't know, fentanyl or something, and I don't feel any of the effects. I'm in like so much pain. And she goes like, okay, so what would you rank your pain level? And they have a chart on the wall. She's
Yeah,
like,
the
look at the chart.
faces,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they have numbers. And I just go, 9. And then Bert goes, it's 10. Say fucking 10. And I go, oh, yeah, it's 10. And he goes, why wouldn't you say 10? I'm like, I don't know.
You want to leave yourself space. It's like it can always
Yes,
get worse.
I wanted to be like, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
worse. And then they tried to avoid giving you Dilaudid.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So they're like, how about this? How about that? I'm like, nah, dude, it's not working.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, we're going to bring out the... And then they tell you, they go, by the way, nothing is stronger than this. This is the max we can give you.
Holy fuck.
And then as they give it to you, they go, you might feel a warm rush in your chest. And it's like a countdown. It's like 3, 2, and you're like...
Oh my God.
And you feel it, and you're like, yeah, dude, this is great.
That's it. Holy fuck.
I was asking for it, like, they're like, you just took some. We have to give you a little break. And I was like, you don't have to.
It's a 10. It's an 11.
Yeah.
Big news, guys. You can now listen to the SXM app at home or anywhere you are. You can stream it all on your phone. You can stream it online. 425 channels are waiting for you on the the SiriusXM app. Enjoy ad-free music channels for every genre, artist-dedicated channels, and much, much more. Never worry about missing any games because the SXM app has live play-by-play of games from every major sports league, like the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. You can stay informed with world-class news from every angle. You can hear the brightest stars in entertainment with original talk and exclusive comedy. Only on the SXM app. The SXM app exclusives include ad-free extra music channels, podcasts, including SiriusXM app originals, and on-demand video of in-studio performances and interviews. Subscribe now. Get your first 3 months for free of the SXM app. Visit SiriusXM.com/pardonmytakeoffer to sign up. Offer details apply. Again, visit SiriusXM.com/pardonmytakeoffer to sign up today.
I was trying to figure out when I first interacted with you online, and I realized that I think it was you love college football, like you just said on the Yak. I think it was over our guy Robert Kakua, may he rest in peace, the Hawaii announcer. Do you
Was it?
remember him?
No.
He was the big guy who would announce Hawaii games with the huge Hawaiian shirt.
Okay.
And it was essentially like if you knew who the guy was, it's like you either gamble too much myself, or you watch too much college football and you're up at like 1 a.m. on a Saturday.
How hardcore are you of a gambler?
I like to gamble a lot. Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, every day.
And like we're talking like you throw like major money.
Yeah,
at this.
yeah. It's my only hobby.
But it's not just that's a rush, right?
Yeah, no,
Because
it really is like
it's like the dilaudid of living.
Yes.
With money.
I always say like when I was I think 11 years old, I won $100 at a turtle race in Key West, Florida, and that was like, all right, this was fucking awesome. I want
And
to
you
do
gamble
this
too?
again.
Yeah, I don't throw around as much money as Big Cat does, but I bet
What's the biggest bet you've ever placed?
for me,
Yeah.
I don't want to say my number.
yeah.
Come on, dude. What do you think? People think you're
The
poor?
game of the year has gotten a little substantial.
Yeah,
It's been
it's a lot.
it's one of the game of the
Yeah,
years.
I'm
gonna
down.
have to bleep that out.
Bleep it out.
I'm at
Reaction tells everything.
That's
the most I've ever done.
a
And
substantial bet.
It is.
Wait,
Yeah.
so do you
Everyone does
gamble?
I mean, very passively. You know, I mean, like, I don't do it online really. I go to Vegas to do
Right.
shows. Sometimes I'm walking by the sports book and it's a certain time of year. It's more fun for me if it's like I'm with friends.
Yeah, you all bet
We're
on a
walking
game
by.
together. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's kind of fun.
That's
but like,
great.
I don't know the ins and if you bet a lot, you start really knowing all the little details and lines and like this and push. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm just like, who do I think will win?
Right.
That's my level of betting. So I'm
Which
not like a
probably would make you better than me.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean that's sometimes.
Wait, did you
simple.
that large bet? Did you win that?
That one I did win.
You did.
Yes.
What did that fucking feel
That
like?
felt awesome.
Yeah.
I also had a run a couple months ago where I went 10-0 on 10 straight days, which was sick.
Of wins.
Yes, and that was very.
Do
very
you
fun.
bet? Do you do like blackjack and craps?
I
and
like
all
playing
that?
blackjack, and I'm not a big craps guy.
Did you ever? Do you know? You may have already covered this. Dana White's run at blackjack there.
No,
It's one of the. You haven't looked this up?
no.
It's one of the wildest things, dude. Look this up. Dana White is banned from almost every. He lives in Vegas.
Right.
From almost every major casino for playing blackjack because he has taken them. And listen to this. He has taken them for millions.
Wow.
So
Millions.
he counts cards. He's got like a system then.
He has a system. And
Yeah.
they like one of the casinos, I forget which one, just they gave him a belt and they're like, you are the champ and you are no
Never
longer
coming
allowed to
back.
take
That's
it.
the nicest
Yeah.
way to kick somebody
Yeah.
out ever.
Holy shit!
This dude, I mean, there's videos on him doing this. It's insane. I don't know what his system is. And we're talking walking out with like, hey, I won $1.3 million
Holy
playing blackjack
fuck.
here. And
It's
they're like,
amazing.
please don't come here anymore.
We've had him on a bunch. We got to bring it up.
You
next
got to
time.
bring him up.
Wait, so who's your college team for college football?
I mean, I'm a longtime FSU fan, so it's been a rough couple years.
Yeah, it has.
I don't waver from it. I'm just,
But it's been bad.
It's been really rough.
Really, really bad.
It's been really bad.
You had Jameis though.
That was a fun run. That was
Yeah.
a fun fucking run.
Yes.
And I went to that game. I went to the national championship game that year. That was a thrill. And like you have to accept it if you're I don't know who you're a big Chicago
Badgers,
guy.
yeah,
or-
Badgers are my college team.
like especially if you have a team and they win something really big, you have to accept like the cyclical nature of it. And for me, I actually get so fucking angry that sometimes I remove myself from watching things. You know what I mean? Like if all of a sudden they're like 1-4, I'll be like, you know what? I think I probably shouldn't watch the game this weekend because I'm not going to get any fucking fulfillment out of it.
So I have a little bit of a different take because my teams don't win often. The Cubs won and the Blackhawks had a nice run, and obviously you go way back and like the Bulls and stuff. But I have found later on in life that I've enjoyed the ride. I've been able to enjoy the ride a lot more.
If you get in on the bad times,
right? Like Wisconsin basketball this year. I always knew they were flawed, but they had a year where they overachieved, and it's like they're probably going to lose in a heartbreaking fashion in the tournament. Like they did. They went 1 for 23 or something on 3. But it's like the ride, the stops on the ride, watching them every 3 nights, that's the fun part.
Yeah,
like enjoying that.
I guess I come and go with it. One of the things that happens too is because of the nature of doing stand-up, I'm always working on a Saturday.
Right.
So I'll record something, and if like I see the highlight before and it's like they lost 56-17, I'll be like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this one.
Jacksonville State this year? Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
It's rough, dude.
And also now you have Dion just taking which
Travis Hunter, that was wild.
Florida State fans got really mad at me because I hopped in one of those Twitter spaces and I was like, Florida State fans are convinced that Barstool is funding Dion to buy recruits, and it's like my response is always like, if that were true, like Dave would just be getting everyone to Michigan. Like he has no allegiance to Jackson
I'll say this:
State.
That's a fun conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so they were all so mad because I hopped in and they were like,
well,
how
look,
much did
I'm
you
a big
pay?
fan of them, and I'm a big Dion fan. I did not get mad at that.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the game we're playing,
right?
Like, and also that dude is I think he could convince a lot of people to make that switch,
especially cornerback.
Yeah.
If you're like the best, if you're the number 1 recruit in the entire country coming out of high school as a cornerback, who else would you want to play for to get ready for the NFL?
And
It's
Prime
no-brainer.
has created this whole environment of like, this is this fun. We're building something here, and like, I mean, I know we're seeing snippets of it, but you watch it as a fan, you're like, yeah, it looks like he's building something fucking cool there.
So your career, like, I've read about like when you started out, and it's got to be similar to Dion. Like, do you ever look back fondly on those days when it's like, I'm in this, comedy world, I don't know if it's going to work, and like that grind of, because you're there now, you're very, very successful. You have a 7-year tour going on.
Yeah, I mean, the memories that we talk about the most are of the shitty times.
The climb, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what we talk about the most. Remember doing that bar show where that guy puked and laid in it and on the front row, like, not getting paid on a gig that you're supposed to get paid on, staying in awful fucking comedy condos. Like, those are the things you laugh about, like the shitty gigs that you do, by the way, for years.
Right.
Years.
Right.
And then people are like, oh, you're overnight or whatever. You're like, no, this is a 20-year ride, man.
Yeah. No, it's true because it happens with us too. Like speaking of Florida State, we do a college football show now, and we're now at a point where like we fly in, it's like thousands of students come out to see us, and we fly right out.
Yeah.
Dave and I always joke like we did a Dumb and Dumber 2 promo ad deal where we had to dress up in the tuxedos, and we did a college football show outside a frat at Florida State where we had to wake the dudes up at like 9 a.m. It was like 20 dudes pissed off standing behind us like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And like those are the funny stories. Those
of course.
are like the moments that you remember, not like, oh, this is sick now. We have like,
I love that you guys are like, you're like banned from NFL activity.
oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, they have
They've got our pictures,
Yeah.
our names.
Yeah.
They
Can
say,
you even
like,
go to a stadium?
Yeah, we can.
We
can
can.
go to
As a
stadiums.
fan, you can go.
Yes.
As
yes.
we can't go to any like NFL media event. We can't go to like anywhere the commissioner is.
Yeah.
They have
And
like
then
a geo fence around.
I
that
remember
we're not
just
allowed
like peripherally watching. Didn't you have like one episode of an ESPN
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
no,
it was sick.
That's not necessary. We had like 1.5. We filmed
the second
part of the
Yeah.
second.
And how did you get like you got pulled? It went well.
The first one,
Yeah.
it went okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was on at like 2 a.m, and
Yeah.
it was after
on a Tuesday.
I can't remember
on ESPN 2.
Yeah, I think it
Wait,
was.
what is the phone call? This isn't working out. You're like, it's aired once.
Oh, we didn't get a phone call.
We got no.
No
That's
phone
not
call.
why we got taken
Phone
off.
call?
That's So the reason why we like aren't bitter about it is it was out of our control. It was people at ESPN basically being like, we don't want to be associated with Barstool.
Fun, cool people.
Right. Yeah, right. People who really, I'm sure they're very happy with their life.
Creative, coming up with cool shit all the time.
Just ripping out, someone else's dream. But that was the part where it was like, at least we didn't get canceled because it sucked.
Gotcha.
I talked to John Skipper, who was the president of ESPN at the time, the guy that fired us. He did not like give us a phone call or anything like that.
But you
I
did
think
talk to him.
Erica.
We were in his office. The two of us were in his office. He was like, he looked at us and was like, I got your guys back.
Yeah.
That was the last we talked
And then
to him.
we're actually filming episode 2, and we're in the middle of taping. So cameras are running. We're in this shitty little like basement looking set, and Big Cat's phone rings, and it's Erica, and he puts it on speaker, and Erica goes, "Hey guys, I got bad news. ESPN's canceling the show." And so you get to see that, much like your basketball experience.
Yeah.
You saw two hearts break at the same time,
Yeah.
and we just kind of like slumped down. And we're like, "Oh fuck!" But I talked to Skipper not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I asked him about the experience, and he thought that he had called me and talked to me. I was like, no,
That's
no.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, what happened was I had never been to barstoolsports.com, the website, and so all these people came into my office saying, you should see the stuff that's on their website. So he typed in barstoolsports.com, looked at it, and the first 2 blogs he saw on there, one by a guy named Jerry Thornton, who writes about like teachers that get arrested because they had sex with like their high school student. And then the second one that he saw was from our good friend Uncle Chaps, and it was just a picture of a pumpkin, and the pumpkin looked like it had a butthole where the stem was.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you think this pumpkin wants the pipe?
Yeah.
And so he was like, so I saw like a guy wanted to have sex with a pumpkin, and then some teacher had sex with a student, and I was like, I can't be in business with this.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's on him though, because like,
Of course it's on him.
it's not, if we had gotten fired after 5 shows, that's probably because our show
This is
sucked.
like
If we
this is
got
like
fired
somebody
after
not
1, that's
looking up who they're going to bought tickets to go see. You're
Well,
like, let's go look it up.
Yeah, and
Like,
we were very naive at the time, and the lesson we learned. I wonder if this has ever happened to you in your career, like in terms of whether it be like a show or something that's trying to convince you. We spent so long trying to get ESPN comfortable with us. We should have realized. Like now, I have the radar up where if someone says they want to do something with us, and they're like, "Well, I got to just check with this person," I'm like, "Nope, I'm out." Because I know if you're not all in right away from day one, there's going to be a moment where you're like, I don't think this is right.
what's happened is that you've stayed like doing the things that you want to do, and you're not trying to. You're pleasing yourselves
Right.
by doing the show you want to do, and it's successful. And what that buys you is the ability to be like,
No.
if you don't want to fuck with me on this, I'm fine.
And I love it because it definitely, like, I feel like comedy recently in the last, 3, 4, 5 years, and you especially because you've had your podcast for a very long time, like, it's got to be freeing knowing that you are now at a point where, and I hate using the word cancel, but fans of comedians can find their comedians. They don't have to, like, there's nothing behind it there. They can just give you can give your fans what they want without having someone like putting an axe over your head.
Yeah, I don't like answer to anybody.
It's awesome.
I mean, like I tour, so I own my tour. I own a podcast network that has a number of podcasts. We're announcing another one next week.
Why'd you do it right now?
It's so good too.
Wait, when next week for real?
Next week, where are we? It's in April. Yeah. So
Wait, so just we're not gonna run this till Friday. Next Friday.
next Friday.
Yeah, so just announce it
Oh, okay.
because that would good publicity.
That's true. So we signed Danny Brown. Danny Brown is a rapper and a super hilarious dude, like one of the best guests we've
This is
ever had.
whenever our younger producers nod, I'm like, this is good.
Yeah,
You did good,
that'll be
Tom.
sick.
Because
Danny
I'm like a
Brown's the
37-year-old
shit.
dad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
very
I don't know, but
Danny-
he's nodding, so he's right.
Tell you what, Bubba, let's just run this tomorrow
Yeah.
on tomorrow's show. Then.
But
Bruiser Brigade, man.
Yeah.
He's so fucking. He's like one of the funniest dudes we've ever had on, and like he's got a great fan base. And he moved to Austin, and we were shooting the shit, and he was like, "I do a podcast if you produce it," and I was like, "Done."
so how many people do you have working for you now?
It's probably equal to Barstool. It's a couple hundred. No, it's we have our studio. It's like staff wise, I think we're close to like 10 staff there.
That's that
but it's
is
like
the
it's our
dream.
own thing. You know?
Yeah,
It's
you're
like-
you're living the dream in that respect.
We just put the shows out we want to put out, and it's great. I wanted to tell you this because of your Skipper story, is that when the pandemic struck is the first time we realized there's no touring, so we're like, what are we gonna do? And so we did a live show. I don't know if you ever saw that we did these things we call it YMH Live, and what it was a show that we could put together uncensored, and that we would also shoot sketches. So basically, try to raise the value of it can't be like, hey, we're just doing our podcast, but make it worth a ticket price. So we were like, all right, we'll do $10 tickets, like a really accessible price, and then we'll show these sketches that we shoot, and then we'll show things that we can't show on our YouTube show, meaning like uncensored, and then we'll do a segment called the heavy segment, which will be like wild shit, like really crazy, deep, dark internet shit. We don't know what's going to happen, and it's just an experiment. Like when you just try, well, let's see if this works. So we do it on a Friday. Tickets go on sale, and as the show's starting, I get a message from the guy, like the webmaster guy. He's like, "This is selling insane right now," and I'm like, "Really?" And it's like thousands of tickets, and I'm like, "Wow!" So we do our show, and then it stays on sale because if you don't catch it live, you can watch it afterwards. And he's calling me like Monday. He's like, dude, it's like, this is bananas. And then he calls me. He goes, hey, the platform that I found to air this just took it down. And I go, why? I thought you said it was selling like crazy. He goes, yeah, they told me 24 hours ago that it had broken their record for their site. And I'm like, so what's the problem? He goes, dude, there are multiple investors that that support this site. And one of them is the NFL. And the CEO of this thing is terrified that Roger Goodell is going to find out that the thing that is selling well is two guys getting fisted by a guy and having their prolapse anuses fall out. And I go, you don't know if he likes it. He might like it. And
that
they're
might
like,
be his thing.
They're like, he's not going to like it. So they took it down. We couldn't put it back up. And then we found another platform that would host it, and they were like, we don't give a fuck what you put on here. And that's where they live now.
That's
but it was
crazy.
He was scared of Roger Goodell.
Yeah. And that is how it works. It's really, there's like every time we talk to people, you'll have allies in different companies, and the normal people will be like, this is awesome, this is funny, you guys make jokes. And then there'll be like someone sitting in a boardroom somewhere where it's like, I don't find this funny.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they can,
Isn't that
just
wild
fucking
too? That's the guy. Like, that's what you find out too in comedy. Like you pitch a show to a network, and it's just fucking Sally and Jim who are like, we don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And
They're
like,
not comedy
or they
experts.
right. Do you write comedy?
Yeah.
Or have you ever performed? Oh, you just get to decide.
They
what's
personally
funny.
don't like it.
Yeah.
So
Or
they're
they,
like, this isn't. Yeah.
They get like 10 tweets, and they're like, yeah, we're getting blowback. We don't want to deal with it. What?
Yeah. And I feel like some of the people should wear, different colored jackets. And you're like, what? Like they're just deciding things like their own personal taste.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, that's awesome that you have, I mean, you're very, very successful.
You guys are like the inspiration. Like you guys are the example of it. Of like guys who just did sports the way they want. That wasn't like and we'll be back in 3.
Right.
And with like the same takes. You know what? Diverse. You have to be able to deal with different struggles during the season, and these guys.
Yeah.
And, like, if you fumble, you're not going to win this game. Like what the fuck
Do
are
you-
we watching? Like
Do you know what's helped us a lot is that sports have gotten a lot smarter. Like people know a lot more analytics,
yes.
everything. But at the end of the day, like the reason why it works for us is that we are inner meatballs. Like if I'm like thinking like, okay, yeah, you should being a guy in a baseball game if you want to send a message.
Yeah.
Like or like you should get in a fight in hockey if you want to rally your team. Like those things that are now becoming like those aren't numbers. Like that doesn't help the team. It's like there's stupid things that we think where we're like, yeah, run the ball and you'll win. Play
Yeah.
defense. It's like, no, that's proven not to be correct, but
Right.
it is in our mind.
Yeah, and it's like you're talking the way that honestly a lot of guys who watch sports want to hear somebody speak. It's like why we all get so excited about an athlete who doesn't give like those soundbite answers. that,
Yes.
like we just hope that if we play as a team we'll win. You're like, Jesus Christ, like you want the fucking psycho who's saying wild shit because you're like, this is entertainment. Just
Yeah.
make it fucking entertaining, man.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe that every NFL team should have at least 2 fullbacks on the roster, even though there's nothing that you can quantify to say this works. But I also am barely smart enough to realize that I'm dumb for thinking that NFL teams should run the ball with their fullback more often.
Yeah.
So we can make fun of ourselves for being, like Big Cat said, meatballs from
Right.
time
Yeah.
to time.
Yeah.
And then people, it doesn't matter if you agree with our inner meatball or if you agree with that voice in the back of our heads that's telling our inner meatball to shut up. Like there's something for everybody a little bit, but at least we're honest with people.
Yeah, of
know?
course. And the big key is that you're honest with your take, and then we do this too. It's like, I might say the most inflammatory, wild, reckless shit, and then you go, hey, I'm open season 2. You can make fun of the way I look, the way I speak, the fucking things I do. Like, you just make fun of me fucking breaking my leg and arm trying to jump.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, the
Just
whole
do
world
it.
did.
Yeah,
So-
they did.
Yeah, the
They
whole
did.
world
Yeah.
did.
So what I noticed reading about you earlier today is that you have a connection with a player that we've talked about on the show since like 2016,
Oh, yeah?
Cassius Marsh.
Yeah.
So Cassius Marsh, you may remember him if you're not familiar. He's the guy that did the karate celebrations, and he had $50,000 worth of Magic the Gathering trading cards stolen out of his car back in like 2016. So he bought your house.
He bought a house that I owned, yeah.
Did you get to meet him at all?
Yeah, we did a podcast together.
What's he like?
Awesome. Absolutely fantastic dude. So at first, this is funny. I'm in LA, in LA it's kind of, I guess, like New York, where you can get a call like, do you know who's buying your house? It's fucking just one of those cities, right? It's like,
Yeah.
So at first my realtor calls me and she goes, hey, I think an NFL person might buy your house. And I go, who? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I'm like, this is not a good call. Give me the fucking, give me the name.
Yeah.
And then she calls me back. She goes, do you know, I think his name is Joe Namath. I'm like, yeah, I know Joe Namath. I go, he's buying my fucking house? And she goes, no, his daughter. But she might buy the house. And I'm like, all right. And I go, that's fucking cool. I'm showing up to that fucking closing.
Yeah.
And then she called me back. She goes, oh, she fell out. And then she calls me and she goes, another NFL player might buy your house. I'm like, are you only showing this to NFL players? She goes, no. And then she tells me Cassius. And we actually started to just DM. And like I was telling him, like, if you need this for the house, like telling him stuff about the house.
Yeah.
And then he would like message me about some comedy stuff and about football. And then the reason that that studio, which is in LA, where it is because of a proximity to the house he bought. So one day I was just like, hey man, do you want a podcast? So he came over, great podcast. I actually didn't realize, I read a blurb, like a wiki thing. I see like something magic. So when I had him on, I was like, so you're a big fan of magic? And he was like, what? And I go, you love magic? And he was like, Magic the Gathering? I'm like, it's like, so do you do like magic shows and shit? And he was like, are you fucking with me right now? And I was like, are you fucking with me? He was like, no, Magic the Gathering. And I was like, abracadabra, I don't know what are you going to do a trick or something? And he was like, do you not know what I'm talking about? And I was like, no, I don't.
He had like the most expensive collection, or one of the most expensive collections in the United States, I think.
He is so deep into like trading cards, memorabilia, Magic the Gathering, NFT. Like he knows that, and he is actually doing so incredibly well in that because he has a business. Like
Right.
he actually has a place that like specializes in this. He told me, and this is on a podcast, that's why I don't feel weird saying it. He goes, I will make more from all that stuff than my NFL stuff. Like not even
Nuts.
cline. Like
Wow.
just for in a season. Yeah.
Good for him. All right, so you got to go. This has been awesome. Roback question. Last question.
Okay.
We have Roback gear if you want any free stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if you like free stuff. RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Roback, Q-zips, and hoodies. Yeah, whatever you guys want. Wait, so what's your last question? What is your NFL team?
All right. Just hear me out.
Okay.
I was born in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I left when I was 9.
Okay.
It was the year they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers, 88.
Which that happened
88.
twice.
And yeah, now 3 times. So I left. We went to Minneapolis. Fucking 9-year-old kid.
This is like the worst. You're just doing a tour of the worst franchise to
Listen,
root for. Holy shit.
I'm going to fucking Vikings games.
Okay.
2 years later, we moved to Milwaukee. Packers are playing half their season at Milwaukee County Stadium. 3 years later, we leave there. We move to Vero Beach, Florida, 2 hours north of Miami. Start going to fucking Dolphins games. The answer is whichever one of them is doing okay. I'll be like.
So it's
good job.
Packers.
Yeah, so
So you're a
wait, were you a
Packers fan.
Packer this year? Were you a Packers fan or Bengals fan?
Oh no, Bengals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
all the
good.
way. Yeah. And actually, like, they've been depressing to be a fan of for a long time.
Yeah.
But it is rad to see them actually have.
It's
a great
very
season.
cool.
Yeah,
That is funny though. Like if you hadn't mixed in the Packers there, it would have just been like, so your team's just all suck.
it's just all me, dude.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, they're like, we're gonna suck for you.
We had a question on our show the other day of a couple that had a kid, and one of them's a Lions fan, one's a Browns fan, and they're like, "Who do we raise? What do we raise this child?" And we came to the conclusion, like, I think you just raise them both a Lions and Browns fan, because if you say that to someone, they're not going to be like, "Oh, you can't root for two teams." They're just going to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, I maybe pick a different sport.
Yeah.
Maybe I would do with that family.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you like fucking hockey?
Yeah.
Maybe switch it up.
Do that. Yeah. The Red Wings had some nice years.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Boom, done.
Done.
But thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having me, guys.
And go see Tom. He's going to be every city in America for the next 8 years.
I can't list the dates. TomSegura.com.
and listen to his podcast, one with his wife and one with Bert, and then also the new podcast coming out soon.
Danny Brown, that's what's up.
Cool. Tom Segura is brought to you by our great friends over at Chevy. It's almost draft day, and everybody's got an idea of what their team needs. And if you're looking to give your own team a winning season, you need the new 2022 Chevy Silverado. From the popular LT model all the way up to the top-of-the-line high country, these new 2022 Chevy Silverados have a redesigned interior. It gives the cabin a spacious and more premium feel. Available in 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. That's a big screen that they got in there. You feel like you're riding in a spaceship. It's got a great interior, and it looks tough. It looks strong on the outside. We love Chevy. Chevy is the official truck of Part of My Take. It's also the official truck of the Low Man Trophy and of fullbacks everywhere. Strap on the cleats, get off-road in Chevy's most capable off-road pickup. It's the first ever Silverado ZR2. It's got next-level off-road capability right from the factory. It's got front and rear electronic locking differentials that ensure max power goes to all the wheels. Silverado is as strong and as dependable as the people who drive them. My buddy bought a Silverado, got to check it out last summer, got to check it out again when I was back in D.C. back in December. It is awesome. It is as advertised. It's a pleasure to drive, awesome to look at, very fun to hang out in, the official truck at tailgating as well. Put some muscle on your team and make your story a strong one in the new 2022 Chevy Silverado. And now, here's Pete Holmes.
Okay, we now welcome on recurring guest, Pete Holmes.
Hi.
It's been a long time.
Pardon.
Yes.
I'm using the catchphrase. Pardon.
It's been, what?
Mugging to the gram.
28. Yeah, get right
That's
into
what we
it.
say at the start of every show. We say pardon.
Pardon me, everybody, but we're back with a long-time recurring guest.
Yeah, 2018. Anything happen in between those years?
Quite a bit. There was a national, actually sort of a global thing happening. We were just saying off mic, I just got the Coco Maloco.
Yeah, you were. I've had it 3 times, I think.
You have not.
Yeah,
Have
2
you?
documented in the 3rd. Yeah.
You can't get it 3 times.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you can.
you can.
Listen. You kind of collect them all. It's like Pokemon.
I got it twice in about a 3-week period, which is crazy, to the point where I got an email from like someone at the CDC being like, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you."
Yeah.
To figure out if this is possible.
Yes, because I'm living like I'm in the 90-day invincible period.
Yeah, but
which, by the way, everyone in New York is also living as if they're in the
Well,
90-day
you're
invincible.
also like fervently anti-vaxxer.
I'm
Right.
very
We-
anti.
yes.
Yeah, well, I'm anti everything. I
Yes.
don't believe it's a flat Earth. We landed on the moon. Yeah, right. That sort of stuff. But no, I got the vaccination, and it was very mild.
That's good.
If my COVID was a salsa, it would have been pico de gallo.
Okay, so
Very
yeah,
mild.
you're not even. It's just there.
Yeah, it was just it was
there.
there. You're not really going to dip into it,
Right.
but it looks pretty on the table.
Right. You maybe like do one with a chip, and the chip falls
chip breaks.
apart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you
this
need
sucks.
a spoon. I've
Yeah.
eaten pico with a spoon before.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to do something as a family.
to get COVID. Yeah, that's nice.
We all got it
bond
together.
Yeah.
But we never had a fever. I do have some people in my circle that are like anti all that stuff, and I don't. This may be silly to say, but I was like hesitant to tell them how mild it was because they're gonna be like, "See,
Told
you.
see,
Told
and I was
you.
like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, "You're
Shit,
vaxxed,
it is.
right?"
It
Yeah,
is just
I
a
am.
cold. Yeah. Damn it.
Wouldn't it be crazy? I was actually thinking this the other day. Wouldn't it be crazy if literally everything that Alex Jones has said for the last
Was
8
true?
years ended up being exactly perfect?
Well, that
Like,
was the plot
Hillary
of Men in,
Clinton is
Men
a
in Black,
reptile.
basically. Yeah, exactly. Remember, Tommy Lee picks up the tabloids, and he's like, "These are the only real newspapers."
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that would be hilarious if we're just like, "Well, that's egg on my face."
That's the world we're living in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out the Illuminati Anunnakis, they're They're here.
Speaking
Which of you are either of you a lizard, a shape-shifting lizard? I just want to know who I'm talking.
Billy
No.
is.
Oh, I knew it.
Billy
I
is.
knew it.
He
Yeah.
is for sure a lizard. Oh, he just did a.
Don't
Yeah.
do that.
He's-
You'll
threw
be a
his
YouTube
tongue.
video and we'll play it in slow motion.
Billy's
We'll be
definitely
like,
he's definitely
he blinked
sexually
twice.
attracted
Yeah.
to them.
He
Wait,
blinked
so
this way and then he blinked this way. Did you
speaking
see?
of Men in Black, were
MIB.
you one of those comedians that was like, Will Smith could have killed Chris Rock?
You mean
and this
Judd?
is-
Am I Judd
Yeah,
Apatow?
Judd actually came in the next day.
No, I
and
know.
We made fun of him for
I
it.
saw Judd last night. He's the best. I you know what I actually think is the funniest thing about it is how comedians make it about themselves. That's what we do, and we're like, I'm gonna be slapped now. This friendly Crest toothpaste motherfucker is gonna be up there getting slapped. Like it doesn't seem to be the issue.
You're right.
This is the start of an epidemic. I can smell it coming. I'm next.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Will Smith wasn't at a comedy show. First of all, yeah,
Right.
I tend to. I don't perform at the Oscars.
Right.
This is why I was funny. Like guys working the circuit, working the funny bones, are like, does this? Am I gonna get attacked?
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
No. In fact, I'm an optimistic. I'm kind of like I think you're less likely because we've seen how like gross
Absurd it looks.
and
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd's a good word, but it was so sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like a movie. If that was in a movie, like violence in movies, we're like, yeah, and then you see real, like, even though it's it's a slap, it's not like hardcore, but it's mild violence. It's violence, and we're all just kind of like, I feel sad.
Yeah, like what was that?
Yeah,
like it wasn't cool.
Right. Right.
I do think it's weird though how Hollywood has there's all these things that have come out in the news, like in Variety, saying that Will Smith is losing jobs and that no producers will touch him right now.
Is that true? Really?
Yeah, to me that makes no sense. I feel like now would be the time to get Will Smith. Everyone's talking about him. I don't know, like you think that he's going to flip out on set or
Kind
something
of like a
that.
no news, good news.
I think it's like the safest time to fly is after a plane
That's
crash.
crazy. I was
right?
just gonna say, yeah.
And so, if
yeah.
you want Will Smith to not slap somebody, now is the time that you bring Will Smith around.
Can
best
you
behavior,
imagine
yeah.
if he slapped another person?
That I almost hope
you
that he
give him-
does.
Yeah, I kind of hope he does too, because
Yeah,
then it'd be
that's
like
his
his thing. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
it's
gonna
his
like?
move.
You can't. If he slaps, I think if he slaps one more person, it's probably like, this is a troubling issue. But if he goes and slaps like 5 people,
You're like, I think he's in control.
Well, and-
I think he knows
Right.
what he's doing.
and then you can't get mad at him going forward if he slaps you, because it's like you knew he was a
Yeah, he's the
slapper,
slap guy.
right? Like you
knew
can't
he was
invite
the
him.
slapper.
Yeah, like you can't be like, how could you slap? It's like, no, dude, that's what he does.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
slaps.
You knew.
Yeah.
You knew.
Yeah,
You
it's
just signed up for it.
If you've ever had like a troubled animal and you're like, oh my god, he never bites. This is crazy. I can't believe that he did that. And then like 3 or 4 more. And then
I'd
you
like
got
to
the
see an
vest on
animal
him.
slap
Yeah.
somebody,
And then you got
a
the
dog.
muzzle.
yeah.
I actually had a dog that kept slapping me.
Yeah. I did a bad job of introing you because you have a new show.
Yeah, I do have a new show. That's what I'm here to promote.
How
which-
we roll.
Which is so, I always say this, it was my favorite job and to work on. It's been so fun. I missed my cast. I missed the crew. So we're promoting the hell out of it. One, because it's a great and funny show. But two, I really just want to see those people again.
Yeah.
So please watch
How we roll.
It's
CBS
gonna be on,
9:30
when does this air?
on Thursdays. I think maybe tomorrow.
Okay, so watch it on streaming.
Hulu.
And then it's on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
And I believe, does CBS have an app? Kate, we don't. Yeah, CBS, Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus.
I
The one
ju-
with the mountain.
I just downloaded Paramount Plus
I
because I have to
also-
watch Paw Patrol. So that's
I also have a child.
and Paw Patrol is the
Here's
worst.
a pro tip: Paw Patrol the movie, not as bad as the show.
The show is mind numbing.
Put on the movie
yeah,
because
it's-
it is Paw Patrol.
Did
Yeah.
they?
It's
Did
a little
they
bit better.
cancel Paw Patrol? Wasn't that like
It was
people
part
were
of-
upset because it was pro police?
Well, there's one cop, and then there's also like a firefighter and a dump truck.
I'm sorry,
dog.
you mean Chase?
Yeah, Chase. Yeah, I haven't learned.
There's
their all
one
names.
cop, two dads. We know the name
It's
of
actually
the dog.
it's actually very funny because they all have these jobs, and then there's just a bulldog who just drives a dump truck.
That's right.
It's like, what the fuck? That sucks.
I think we were saying that like in order to counterbalance that, there should be like a left wing dog on the program, like Antipaw.
Yeah.
And he's going out there like attacking.
Antipaw.
Yeah.
He's
Wow,
throwing
that was
bricks
quick.
at people. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put Antipaw together pretty
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about it like 3 years ago. I think
Okay.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things like you ever have something that you said like a while ago that's just stored in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden like somebody touches
And in
it.
3 years, I'll go Antipaw, and I'll think I came up with it.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
it's
how
yours.
reality
It's
works.
yours. That's how comedy
No,
works.
I won't even know. Like, that's what I mean. It'll just come out.
So the show How We Roll. My first question when I saw the little video that I watched today, it's a guy who basically says, you know what, I'm quitting everything. His family pushes him to start bowling as a profession.
Yes, and actually that's a good first of all, it's based on the real life story of Tom Smallwood, who's a real bowler. So
Okay.
that's a little bit of a spoiler.
Okay.
I'm playing Tom Smallwood. We know in reality Tom Smallwood is a professional bowler.
Right.
So-
So do you bowl, or was it one of those
Well, you
situations
guys
where
know
like
I'm a huge athlete.
where like Wesley Snipes had to learn how to play basketball?
Well, Wesley Snipes had to learn how to be a day walker. For
Yes.
Blade.
Yes.
And he drank blood.
Right.
A
That's
lot
right.
of people, not a lot of people talking about that. Look at Instagram.
Yeah. And Billy's looking up right now. But do you bowl?
Your face was shocked. I bowled because I'm from Boston. A candle pin.
Okay.
You remember candle pin? It's like a hard
The tiny
cantaloupe.
ones,
yeah,
yeah.
the hard. Yeah, it's for it's more of a kid sport. Perfect for birthday parties. But then when I got out to California, I did start doing more of the 10 pin. Didn't know that's what it was called. 10 pin. You want to sound cool? It's the 10 pin ball.
So you did have a little bit of bowling.
And then Robert Smith, not from The Cure. Robert Smith in The Cure did come by set once, but we just gently wept for a little bit. Robert Smith, the professional bowler, came by, and he taught me how to bowl. He was the second guy we had. The first guy we had on set, I forget his name, but he was a professional bowler too. This was for the pilot. And he was like, just bowl. Just show me how to bowl, like how you bowl. I was like, okay, I know, stick your foot out, kind of finish. And I try it. This is in front of everybody. There's like 50 background people. All the cast is there. And I do it, and he goes, not at all. I was like, aren't you supposed to like lead with encouragement?
Yeah,
Be
right.
Like,
Tell
okay,
me,
that's
yeah.
where we're starting. He just like made fun of me. And that was all the time we had. That was the first lesson. Luckily, we reshot the pilot, and in between that and the series being picked up, I had more proper lessons. And it's interesting, like it's little things. It's like, here, I'll give you a tip because you can see me. I'm used to doing this on radio, but like you might bowl like this, right? You got your fingers in here and you hold it like this. He's like, just do that.
yeah.
Just that.
the spin.
And well, it's more to let the weight of the ball. So instead of like moving your arm to throw it back, let the ball's heavy.
Right.
It's like a 10-pound ball. Let the ball do that while you're walking. 4 little Fred Flintstone, 4 little steps, and then it comes out. And you start throwing strikes. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. I had a pro literally giving me like bonsai tree micro adjustments. But then I would throw, I think I threw 4 in a row.
Whoa.
Which was really cool. But thank you for that. I do want to concede and say, if you're in a rhythm, it's way easier.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like basketball in the same way that like bowlers have to throw twice, then they sit.
Right.
And that slows you down. You can't just get into that muscle
Right.
memory.
Right. Right.
But
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, that's I assume a lot of people have that exact same thought when they see the show and they're like, wait, did he learn how to like? Because bowling's one of those things. If you could be good at bowling,
Yeah.
it's kind of like golf. Like if you're good at it, it's a lot of fun. If you suck, it's the worst.
Yeah, no, and you have to stay interested.
Yeah.
That was always my problem. Everybody starting bowling is like, I'm gonna really do it. I'm gonna bowl a perfect game. I'm gonna go for it. And then like 5 frames in, you're a little drunk, you're a little bored, your hands are greasy, and like you give up.
Yeah.
It's all about sticking with
That's the problem for me is when I go bowling, if I get through like 5 frames and I haven't had a beer yet, I just get bored and I'm like, I
Well-
think I need to drink the lightest yellow color beer you have in the most plastic pitcher that you sell. You
Yeah,
know?
and they can do that.
And they'll
It's
hook
like
it up.
it's like on The Simpsons. He's like, go to first base, chug a beer. Go to second base, chug a beer. And then
Yeah.
he's like, we know how to play softball.
So what's the best game of bowling that you've ever rolled?
You know, since I've had the lessons, I haven't played because of the Coco Moloko. We were going to have our rap party at Pins, this bowling alley in the valley, and none of it happened. Our rap party was me and Katie Lowe's, who plays my wife, like watching the show, like sadly alone with our families. And then we got it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you mentioned something that I think is important about the show is it's like Crashing, the show I did before this, was about like, it was very lone wolf. You
Right.
know? It was Pete, I want to be a comedian. I'm alone. I have no friends, but I'm going to make it. And honestly, that's a little bit what it's like being a comedian.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like being a pirate. Like you're just like, I'll go steal the booty, like the
Right.
laughs. But this is about a family and friends together. So it's like a really great, for me, post-quarantine show. The script came through while we were in quarantine. And I was like, this is what we need. I feel like so many people during quarantine were like, even if you had a great job, like you guys, I'm sure we're like, wait, what would I change?
Right.
You know what I mean? You had that almost monastic period, just washing a dish. Look at Instagram right now. He's just kind of thinking about his life.
Yeah. Billy bought a barn.
I'm sorry,
and
Billy.
lived in-
I'm
Yeah.
going to stop calling you
Monastic
Instagram.
screwed him
He's,
up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he actually is similar to a monk. He bought his own
Did you
barn.
really?
He lived in a
You
barn.
did?
He collected animals. He drank nothing but beer.
This is what you did during the quarantine.
It was his dad's barn, but yeah.
Okay. Well, see, this is my point. Billy went his own way.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
very similar. He's very spiritual.
But even like my dreams came true. But I'm a comedian. That was always my dream. And still during the quarantine, I was like, what would I tweak? What would I change? And so many people in this time came out with a dream that they were like, I'm going to follow it. Like, fuck it. We all die someday. I'm going to go for it. And this story isn't just about somebody going for a dream. It's about what happens when family and friends support it. His wife isn't like, get a job. Like, that was the first thing I looked for. And she's actually, as you said, she's the one that pushes him. And that, I just feel like, kind of in a Ted Lasso way.
Yeah.
Like, you want something to root for. You want a group of people pointed in the same direction. There's some salty jokes. It's got some edge. But at the same time, it's like a friendly, optimistic show.
So you mentioned Crashing, and I loved the show. I was sad that it didn't get renewed for a third season.
What?
Yeah. So
Did you hear this?
The thing I'm wondering.
They just put it on
I have
hiatus.
that. Is that Target?
It's on hiatus.
It's coming back.
The thing I'm wondering is how
It wasn't picked up for the fourth season.
fourth
but yes,
season. Fourth
yeah.
season.
No, it's all good.
How do you ever like?
Did you love my ego just there? Like I
Yeah.
couldn't let that go.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're worth.
You've had like 4 or 5 different shows that you've created get picked up, but like you're
still
very,
hanging
very
on to the
accomplished. Yeah.
details.
But do you ever like dream about or daydream about like where the character was going to go?
First of all, I'm touched that you still remember it, still like it, all that stuff, and what a generous question. This is going to sound like bullshit. Pardon. This is going to sound like bullshit. But if we had done a 4th season, because it was on the wind, gentlemen, that we weren't going to come back. Like, HBO was always cool. They weren't like, I don't know. But we just had this sense that things were wrapping up. And so that's why it ends so tight. Like, we were like, let's get these people together. Let's get like. But if we had done a 4th and we were working on it, Pete would have started to become successful.
Right.
And the show was called Crashing. It's supposed to be about those. To me, I wanted to make a show that was about what it's really like to be a comedian. And what it's really like to be a comedian, especially for the first 10, 15 years, is these micro achievements. It's these little things. It's like, oh, I'm accepted at this club. That's where Crashing ends. He's accepted at the Comedy Cellar. That's a huge deal. So when we started thinking about the 4th season, we looked at my career and we were like, well, maybe he does Conan, and maybe Conan is like, give this kid a talk show. As soon as you do that, it's not Crashing.
Yeah.
What about Pete gets a podcast, and then the company that paid all this money for his podcast starts deleting a lot of the episodes? That would be cool.
Wait, what is that? Oh,
Joe Rogan.
you mean Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify. Yeah, that would be cool.
So
Wow, I struggle.
Like he gets
to keep
canceled.
Up with
That would be
one.
great if in season 4 you get so big that then you get canceled the other way.
I think, yes, those are big stories.
Yeah.
And we were always dealing with those little stories. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I know that sounds cheesy, but I'm proud that it was like, as soon as he has a podcast where he's canceled or he has a talk show, now you're watching Entourage. And I liked Entourage, but like Crashing was always, now I'm really going to sound up my own ass, but it's about how what you want is on the other side of something you don't want.
Right.
Like that. And I think the reason I like saying that is because I feel that that's true in reality. And I'm not shoehorning this in. That's what Tom Smallwood did. He got laid off. On Crashing, I got divorced. But on How We Roll, my character gets laid off. And that thematically is true. I don't just mean for TV. I mean for our lives. Like we had that, some of us had that for the quarantine. Like I'm saying, you reevaluate it in some way. I, in real life, had that with a divorce. I've had that through all sorts of, why would you ever make a change in your life if it's working?
Right.
That's just not how human animals are. As animals, as a species, if it's working, look to our parents, I'm assuming, for other examples of this. You see old people, you get those grooves in your brain, nice and deep.
Yeah.
You think the same things, you say the same things. This is why 80-year-old, 90-year-old, they're always saying like inappropriate shit. It's because that's their stuff.
Right.
And it works.
Right.
What do you mean? I
They've
say
been
it at
running
the
the
barber
same
shop.
material for years.
The same. So you want to be fresh water. You want to keep it moving like a river, right? But here's the thing. We can say that, but I feel myself atrophying all the time. As a dad, my life is so much less about me. So that's why we make dad jokes, is because we're not even thinking about how to keep ourselves fresh. We're giving our lives to our children. That being said, whenever shit is disrupted, like I'm a bad boy, whenever shit's fucked
bleep that out. Bleep that out, Liam.
yeah, bleep it, please. I mean, like, take Crashing getting canceled. Like, these things that you don't want shift you around.
Yeah.
They shake up the bottle, and that's what you want. You want your bottle shake.
Yeah.
So you can continue to grow, continue to change. And,
Yeah.
and that's what How We Roll is about, I think, at its core.
Well, in Crashing, you kind of alluded to this. If he had gotten the big talk show at the end, what I always liked about the show is that it was very high stakes about very small events in this person's life.
Yes.
So it's like step by step trying to break through to the next step, like get a couple laughs at an open mic night.
That's right.
Or like go on the road and have a successful event that you put out. And if it becomes something big, then the show's totally different. It
Yes.
would be very funny. I'm curious to know your take on this. Like, as a comedy writer, is it possible to make a show like that, or like Ted Lasso, where the main character you're rooting for him the entire time?
Yeah.
A genuinely good guy that's easy to get behind. Is it possible to have like a finale to that show where it does take like a big dark turn, like maybe your character in Crashing had been plagiarizing the entire time and hadn't written any of those jokes,
Yeah.
or in like Ted Lasso, maybe Ted Lasso is like a serial killer, like like it switches up entirely the vibe of the is it possible to pull something like that off and make it funny without completely pissing off your audience?
It's really it's an interesting question. I think the answer to that question really depends on what's going on in the world. Like, the art that the culture makes is a reflection, often unconsciously, of what's going on in the culture. My example is, like, remember the game Cards Against Humanity? Mm-hmm. I really like that game. It's fun. But it got less fun as the world got more Cards Against Humanity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is an exaggeration, but Cards Against Humanity would be like, what's your least favorite race? Or something. And you're just
Right.
like, yeah, this shit's too real.
Yeah.
Like, it's not funny anymore to talk that way when the world is, like, collapsing in so many regards. So I don't think now is the time for Ted Lasso to be a serial killer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
TV shows are like the dreams we're all having together. And dreams are often things that you want, like aspirational. Like, it's like, what if there was a soccer team, a football team that was rooting for each other, that was underdogs? Like, we want Rudy right now. Mm-hmm. We don't, like, my joke was, like, before the pandemic, all the TV I was watching was pretty dark.
Right.
Like, I love Breaking Bad. I'm not putting down Breaking Bad. I'm just saying, like, when I go home after the end of, like, the country being tense in so many different ways, I'm not like, let's watch a pot boiler right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what I watched during the pandemic was Frasier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here I
No,
am.
you're right. The Office, I would just rip through The Office.
We watched
Yeah.
the whole thing of The Office.
Yeah.
We watched the whole thing of Frasier. We watched the whole thing of Raymond. And it was so funny. Here I was going back to multicam comedy, and that's when the offer to do a multicam comedy came in. And I literally was like, these things have a place, especially in America. It's such an American thing. My whole life, I didn't know what I had, like, a kitschy nostalgia for. And I'm always worried this is going to sound like I'm just towing the company line and trying to push my show. But I really mean this. I didn't know it was multicam comedies. Sometimes, like, Mulaney and Kroll, they'd be talking about, like, MASH or Alan Alda just in general. They had this, like, really deep appreciation. Or Conan, always talking about the original Batman series with Adam West. And I was like, I just don't have that. Billy, I just don't have it. I don't know what my thing is.
Right.
Like, that I have, like, an exaggerated love for. It turns out it's a kitchen with a swinging door. The beers say light beer on them, and they have water in them. They add the later. And talking to my TV wife, who's acting, like, Katie Lowe's did a great new interpretation of it. But, like, we're still in a ceilingless building with the lights and the audience. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I thought show business was when I was 13.
Big comfy
So,
couch.
yeah, you're-
And the couch,
the
yeah.
stairs right behind the
You
couch.
just
Do you have the
Buddy,
stairs?
I don't even know. Yes, I was just going to say, when I saw our set, I was like, they did it.
I'm home.
I'm home.
Yeah, you're
The
searching
couch-
for Al Bundy.
You're facing
Yeah.
the cameras, and that's where the TV is,
Yeah.
right? And the TV's flown out, so it's assumed to be there. The stairs are right behind you. I got my little son running up the stairs. He stops on his mark and says something,
Yep.
and goes up to his room. We all know
That
his
is
room is just
comforting.
All
plywood.
those, yeah.
The whole time. This is why I'm, like, really promoting it. I really want people to love the show, and I really love making it. I want to be back. I have, like, this second house now, like this other little house. It's a fake house sitting in a car, like a pretend car that doesn't run, and just, like, somebody's literally going like this to make it bounce up and down. I'm like, this is so much closer to a talent show at a summer camp than it is like a movie. And I mean that in the best way possible. And it turns out that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
You guys must feel that. You come here, and especially as a dad, you dump out all of your look at me, all of your specialness. You get to shine and shimmer, and then the rest of your time, you can do whatever you want. But this is your home base.
Yeah.
Like you must have, I hope you do, and I hope you're appreciating it. Like the fondness for these guys, for these walls.
Yeah, it's ours.
It's your
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
clubhouse.
Yes.
It's your little treehouse.
Absolutely.
With Crashing, we didn't look, I'm not putting down Crashing. I loved it. But we'd get up at 4 a.m. and drive to Long Island to shoot one scene.
Right, there's no
Right,
home base.
right,
There's
right.
There's no
nothing
home
that you
base.
come back
Yeah,
to.
that's interesting.
This is like, I park next to Katie. You get out of
Right.
the cars. Hey, good
job.
morning, Katie.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over here.
Do you ever run into somebody that's like, oh, you're a comedian? Oh, I don't like comedy. I'm not a fan of jokes. Like someone that hates to laugh. Do those
We were
people
just-
exist?
I was just talking to Aaron, who did my hair and makeup, as you can tell, this morning.
Looks great.
We were talking about, I was watching Jack Reacher. Did you watch Jack Reacher?
No.
I never watched it. No,
There's a series called
I'm
Jack
familiar
Reacher.
with the vibe of the show.
Yes. What's that? You liked it? Kate liked it. I really liked it too. I just like impervious men who are never wrong. That is the guy fantasy. It's Sherlock Holmes was the same thing. It's like, I noticed you're wearing a hat with a W on it, and blah, 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 and I'm always right.
Yep.
We did a sketch about that on the Pete Holmes show, making fun of Sherlock Holmes, where it's like he notices somebody, he must be an alcoholic because the base of his phone has scratches when he's looking for to plug his phone in at night. But in ours, we had Matt McCarthy playing Watson, and he's like, no, it's just those are little holes. It's hard to get the plug in. Like, that never happens in
right,
Jack Reacher. He's
right.
always right.
Right.
Like this type of grass only grows here, and it's like that's why the killer is you.
Right.
It's never like, no, that's fake grass.
Right.
Like you're wrong. But men in particular like stuff like that. But here's to go back to your point. Jack Reacher doesn't dance. Tough guys never dance, and tough guys often don't like laughing. They don't like comedy. And I think both of those are related.
Yeah,
Dancing,
It's like, am I a cuck for letting another man make me laugh?
Right.
you nailed it. I thought you said cock, but you said cuck.
Cuck,
Like, am I
yeah.
a cuck?
Like it's fellas. Is it gay to laugh at another man's jokes?
Buddy, I really think something powerful subconscious is going on. Let's start with dancing, right? You don't want to dance because that's surrender to music. Like, you decide how you move.
Right.
And then someone's
Yeah.
like, come on, baby,
Music
bubba,
takes
do
over.
the conga. And you're like,
Yeah.
and you merge. This is like, I'm saying feminine energy. Men and women have it, but feminine energy can be more merging, more open, more
Right.
flow, right? So that's more okay for women to dance, and tough guys don't dance. I actually think I would have loved it if Jack Reacher danced. If he was out there kicking ass, being decisive, always right, and he was just like, of course, like what
Yeah,
is
the
wrong
song
with
rules,
this?
yeah.
This is my jam.
Yeah.
Back to laughing. It's the same thing. If I'm doing comedy and there's someone in the front row with their arms crossed and they're daring me
Yeah.
to invade them.
It's an alpha right there.
It's always a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost always a guy. I've seen some women do it. And typically, women can be nightmares at comedy shows for different reasons, but typically women are, maybe it's conditioned, maybe it's a cultural thing, but they tend to be more okay with giving the control of their consciousness. Right now, this show is invading consciousnesses.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are now your thoughts.
Right.
Yep.
We don't think of it that way, but like, think of the lone guy. Like, Jack Reacher is not driving around listening to podcasts.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's not, and he's not going to comedy shows and laughing his ass off, and he's not dancing. But I wish we could, not just masculinity, but for everybody, specifically because I'm a man, I know that burden. I'd love to see more models of like, why is it weak to laugh your ass off at some funny shit? Like, why is it more masculine to not laugh and then steal that guy's joke? Now I'm flying the plane. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's
Right.
like, fuck off. It's
Right.
like, let's enjoy each other. Did we learn anything from this pandemic?
No,
We're all
no
in
one
the-
learned anything. That is a fact. That
was
is an absolute fact. Like,
Maybe in like Sweden they
nah,
do, but
no chance that we learn anything. People are just like everything that we said we were going to do, and the
It's
first
over.
month. No,
it's like
forget
New
it.
Year's resolutions.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna say, like, Oh, I forget what it.
Be nicer to
let's
each
be
other.
let's be
Yeah.
nicer.
Okay.
And we're all in it together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that
no, we're
lasted
not.
for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Now it's
Yeah.
selfish. Yeah.
Now we actually did learn how to hate each other more easily.
Yes.
We've gotten much better at.
Well, it
being-
is a great luxury to be able to be dismissive and judgmental of your friends and neighbors.
It's
Yeah.
great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
And
wonderful.
now that we have it back, yeah.
You know what's going to bring it back? It was going to bring back kindness. Is the 3-camera sitcom.
Yes.
Well, okay, so the home base isn't just for me; it's for everybody. That's what I realized watching multicams is you're not just watching Ted Lasso. I know that's not a multicam, but you're visiting the locker room.
right.
And on Cheers, you're visiting the bar. And on this, we have our bowling alley, and we have Tom's house, Tom's mom's house. These are places. Like the human, I don't mean we're dumb in a bad way. I mean, let's take advantage of the fact that you see it and you kind of start to believe it. So you got to be careful with that. If all you're watching is like dark shit, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying you'll notice that you kind of start feeling a little Vincent Price, you know?
Right.
And when you watch shows like How We Roll, Thursday nights, 9:30 after Ghosts, you start to get some of that warmth rubs off on you. And again, just to restate it, it's like a funny show, but it's also about people coming together. My joke is it's not even a joke. It's how we roll. It's not how I roll. It's about a family, and I feel like we need that right now.
You're right about what you watch and how it affects you. Like if you watch enough, episodes of Sopranos, you're like more likely to get into like a fight over a parking spot.
That's
or
right.
something. Yeah, like
I-
start yelling at people.
That scene
Yeah.
where the couple is fighting on the street, and they come out, and the guy's like not a mobster, but he's kind of connected, and you go, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
to the girl, and then he like kills the guy.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
We're so impressionable. I'm now less likely. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but you'd have a hesitancy because you'd be like, "The world's fucking insane. I saw it."
Yeah,
You
right. Someone
didn't-
might kill me.
You
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Yeah, you did
but
not.
you did see it.
Right.
That's why, man, talk about these are the dreams we have together. When you have a dream, like I've noticed if I have a sex dream, I'm horny all day. That's how we are. If we are kind, I used to think it was stupid that would say like, have a good weekend. Hey, have a good weekend.
Right.
That's a nice sweatshirt. I
Right.
mean it. That's a nice sweatshirt. This shit
Trying
matters.
to fuck me?
The fact that you think that I'm like a cool guy that would try to fuck, like what we say to each other really matters. Like,
Yes.
words matter. They're like little spells. If I say those are cool sunglasses, which they are, those are cool. Or you seem nice. You're good at your job.
Let's fuck.
Yeah.
You guys both
It is.
took it right
That's-
to intercourse.
yeah,
That's what we do on this show.
That's what you're trying to do. No, you're right, though.
your
Words
pants
do
off.
matter.
Just say you want to take your pants off.
You are
Listen.
funny. You guys both ruined my
Yeah.
TED Talk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that was a beautiful TED Talk.
What's great is everyone knows where I was going.
Yes.
What we put in comes out. But yes,
Yeah.
I think after this we'll all have sex.
All right, so Thursday, 9:30, How We Roll. Last question.
9:30, yes.
It's the Roback question. What size are you? We'll get you some Roback gear. Beautiful gear.
What is
You're gonna
Roback?
look great.
It's
good question. It's Q-zips and hoodies, and it's the best stuff in the world.
Is that a Roback?
No. RHOBACK.com. That is, though. That's a really good
Okay.
sweatshirt. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. I have a bone to pick with you with something I heard you say recently. And
guy?
this will be the last question. Yeah, you.
Bone to pick?
You said that if you lived forever, ice cream wouldn't taste as good.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally wrong.
Well, neither of us can try. Neither of us can give that a whirl.
That made no sense when you said it. Because I do love listening to you because you do actually have like some really profound thoughts. And then when you said that, I was like, wait, shut up, Pete. That's stupid.
That is
Like ice cream would still be awesome.
I agree with you. First of all, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm exaggerating it a little bit to make a point. I'm trying to embrace that. I don't think, in my spiritual worldview, that the clock on the game, that might be a better metaphor, meaning that we die, imbues this moment. Fuck ice cream. This moment, the fact that we know that we're a room full of flowers. We like to think that we're all Jack Reachers, but we're flowers. We're delicate, and we're only here for a time. Imbues this moment with a richness that wouldn't be there if I was like, I live forever. I'll be back 20 times. Guys, this could be it.
Yeah, okay, all right. The way you're putting it there, I think it was just specifically the ice cream. part. Was like, God damn
here's
it.
where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And this is good. This is what I'm talking about. I'm letting the music manipulate me. I'm letting your opinion. You're right. Ice cream would always taste great. When you overdo it, there's something about the way that the universe works that feeling good all the time doesn't work.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that that's
Yes.
weird? Like heroin has dire consequences. Like if the point was to feel good all the time, these things would be great life hacks and would be like, all right, just give me an IV drip of heroin and we'll all just roll around like holding it. You know what I mean? It's not how it is. It's supposed to be this, and death is part of that. And one of the reasons is because this is a sports place, a basketball game without a clock is absolutely joyless.
Right.
And in the same way, I love that you brought it up because it put the needle on the record for me. Everything's a little clearer. Everything's a little bit more urgent and vivid because I remember, Pete, stop. You think you're doing press? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over there, do another show. It's just this. And it could just be this.
Yeah.
It could just be this.
That's a good.
You're happy
I
when
like
you're happy.
that.
You're
Yes.
sad when you're
Yes.
sad, and that's how you feel the most happy overall.
Yeah.
Well, that's another idea. You need the contrasting energy. When you're down, that is what makes up. But we want just one side of the coin.
Yeah, no, you don't. It's like when you get sick, and you said you had it mild for COVID,
Yeah.
but like when you get sick, when you get the flu or something happens to you, you appreciate the health a lot more.
And
next time.
and how we are, at least how I am, you feel like you'll never be well again.
Right.
And then when you are, just
You're
like
like-
you were saying about the quarantine, you immediately forget that you were ever sick.
Yes,
And you just
yes.
go around
I'm invincible again.
Yeah.
getting it.
Ice cream
again.
tastes like shit because I'm never gonna die.
Yes.
I'm trying to say something. The stakes of death are what give life more value, and I would say
Yep.
make ice cream a little bit more delicious because ice cream is this sort of indulgent. It's not healthy, but you're taking a little bit, and it means more that it might be your last.
All right, I'm on board now. Pete, this has been great. It's great to see you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. And everyone go watch the new
Yeah,
show.
thanks for letting me
How
get
We
the word
Roll.
out. How We Roll.
On CBS Thursday nights, and you can rewatch it on Paramount.
Paramount Plus. It's the mountain one.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
one with the
The one
mountain.
Paul-
The one with the
Paul-
Yellowstone.
It looks like Coors Light.
The one with
Paul
Yellowstone,
Patrols.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
I believe for copyright reasons we can't say that, but yes, Paramount Plus.
Okay. Got it. Pete Holmes was brought to you by TaylorMade. Are you ready for the ultimate giveaway? Don't skip through this ad because we are giving you stuff. We're teaming up with our friends from TaylorMade for the ultimate season opener sweepstakes and giving 50 prizes to 50 different winners. Prizes include everything from a grand prize, a full bag of new TaylorMade clubs, to a new stealth driver, to TP5X golf balls, and everything in between. Hank, you just got one of their drivers, right?
The Stealth.
Have you taken it for a spin yet?
I have taken it to the simulator. I got to take it out to the course. But
How to hit?
Hit hard, hit straight.
Hell yes.
Fast swing, notably fast swing, big sweet spot on it. Hank's raving about it. You will too.
You should get some clubs, PFT.
I should get some clubs. What if I just decide, like, you know what? I think if I practice hard enough, I can become a professional golfer. You think I could do it?
Yes. I think you could do anything you set your mind to.
Thanks, Hank.
How many strokes behind do you think you are?
50, just 50.
Got it.
Exactly 50 strokes. Now through May 10th, go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps to enter and celebrate the season's first major and the unofficial start to the golf season. The Sweeps is running across a number of podcasts within this Barstool network, and we want our loyal followers to win. We want a Part of My Take listener to win this. I'm personally becoming competitive about this. I do not want anybody that listens to Mean Girls pod to win. I want you guys to win. The Sweeps is running across these podcasts. Go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps right now for your chance to win, and be sure to let them know you heard about it from us. We want the Part of My Take listeners to win. I don't want a Macrodosian to win. I want a Part of My Take listener to win. TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps right now for your chance to win.
Okay.
Also, if you are playing
Oh.
golf this spring or summer, book your tee time with the Barstool Golf Time app.
Love it.
Thank you, Hank.
Hell yes. All right, Fyre Fest of the week. Hank, how was your week?
My week was okay. Busy,
Yeah?
Busy week.
It's a good week.
Good week.
A lot of meetings.
Productive.
Uh-huh.
A lot of meetings. Just racking up hours in the meeting room.
Nothing
Yeah.
bad happened.
Clocking in, clocking out.
Is there? No, I don't think so.
Well, it's Friday today, so you're going to go home. You're going to kick your feet up on the couch. You can probably take your tie off, have a nice one cold beer, and fall asleep.
No, nothing bad happened this week? Okay. Cool. You've already forgotten it. That's fine.
Wait, I don't even know.
I mean, we literally have like the best chip over Hank's head for the rest of our lives because we retired his coach.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was this
game.
week.
That was Saturday.
No, that was this
we
week.
talked about that on Sunday.
That was this week,
I'm
though.
trying to move
That
on.
was
I
this
will
week.
say, I was just talking about it to Rudy on camera, and I said it We talked about it on Sunday, but and it set into me instantly the second we left the stadium. But there is a big difference between your team losing. There's like the stages of grief. It's maybe a few days, and then you move on, and then it's like, all right, we got next year, we got the future, we got everything going. This loss was different because for the rest of time, whenever I'm happy, whenever anything goes good in my life, whenever I'm feeling good or like something, Patriots, Celtics, whatever it may be, I just know that this guy to my right, Daniel Katz, is gonna just at any chance he gets be like, hey, remember when we killed Coach K in the Final Four and UNC beat Duke in their last 2 games? And it's just gonna bring me down. So I'll actually
say
in instantly, and it's every time I think about it, it's a downer.
Right now, here and now, Henry, someday when you decide to get married to some fine woman, I will make sure that my gift is a commemorative, framed plaque of that game.
That's very
guaranteed.
nice. Yeah, that's very nice.
Guaranteed. Maybe signed by Coach K and Mickey Krzyzewski.
And then I do also I'm just moving apartments because I feel like my
Again?
Fyre Fest my apartment doesn't have AC again.
You can buy an AC, like a window unit.
My window doesn't really have that type of window.
You don't have the capabilities to install.
Oh, you're too high up?
No, it's not like it's a long window.
You're talking about a door.
You got
You got a sliding.
I don't
door.
have a normal square
got
window.
floor to
It's
ceiling?
not like floor to ceiling either. It's just probably skinny, maybe
What floor are you
4
on?
feet in length. I'm on the 3rd floor.
So
interesting.
penthouse.
No, there's 6
So-
floors. I'm in the middle.
What's the plan here? You're going to move again?
I'm gonna move Jersey City. It's been real, but it's just not.
Wow,
it's
is
not
this
for me.
so? Oh, so you're
and-
no different than Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah.
No.
Jesus Christ.
So you get a little bit of success, and then you're out the door. Now, Hank, is the sliding door thing that you have? I used to sell portable air conditioners. I can set you up with one that might fit that door. How many square feet is the room?
I don't fucking know.
Probably
is
need
this
at least
because-
14,000
is
BTUs.
is this
Definitely not. I
because-
think my apartment's 600 square feet total.
Is this because now that you're corporate, you can't be seen in Jersey City? You
No,
gotta
it's
maybe-
nothing
Are you
wrong
moving?
with Jersey City. It's my building. It's my building.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Are you moving to Westchester?
I'm not. I'm gonna stay in Jersey somewhere.
Corporate Hank's going to
TBD.
Greenwich, Connecticut.
Hank's moving to Trump Tower.
But the other thing, you guys know, I love the summer. Summer's my time of year. I love, living on the ocean. Big fan of boats. And Blake Bortles recently got cut from, or he chose to leave. Is that what we're going with?
No, that's
Yeah.
that's actually what happened. He
Yes.
said, "You know what? I'm going to spread my wings elsewhere."
So the Saints signed Andy Dalton, and Blake decided to leave. And Addison Rae, who's just a content creator, great Twitter personality, has really interesting tweets. You should follow her.
Does she have any other jobs?
She's a TikToker. She's a brand representative. She's a movie star. She's
Yeah.
all that.
She's a journalist.
She was all that. She was a journalist for UFC.
Yep.
So more accomplished than you, PFT. I don't know what that type of comment
Oh wow!
was. But she tweeted, and I saw it on my timeline. It just said we need to appreciate boats more. And coming from a dual action boat appreciator, both Blake Bortles and
You're
just
buying a boat?
aquatic. I'm not buying a boat.
This is a very long way of
Yeah.
Hank explaining that he's not horny.
And PFT bonked me and publicly tweeted and was like, "Oh, I'm bonking you for liking a tweet," and that was just too much from the guy that's
No, I would never-
constantly
I
saying
would-
that
why would-
I don't jack off in memes is coming at me for being too horny. I don't know why I was catching those strays.
I don't think I'm constantly saying that. I think I said it one time off camera, in a private moment.
That was on
It was
PMT.
on camera.
It was on
It was
PMTV.
on PMTV.
Kinda
PMTV.
Said, I'm not horny.
It was on PMTV. Now Hank has successfully steered this conversation towards me.
Where's the Fyre Fest?
Well, this is
I'm just out here trying to appreciate boats, and
I'm
I'm getting
lost.
bonked.
Hank is just delivering
Oh,
a
that's
monologue.
the Fyre Fest.
Yeah.
A
Got
monologue
it.
saying
What does
that
have-
he's not horny.
What does that have to do with you moving?
Well, I didn't want to make my Fyre Fest every week about my apartment sucking, so
Got
I didn't
it.
do that.
Oh.
I didn't mention that. I chose
All right.
my other Fyre Fest, which
I
is
see it.
PFT's bonking me.
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Side note, I do hate my apartment, and I'm moving.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
That's not my Fyre Fest. I don't want to just be an apartment complainer.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, those people suck.
Yeah. All right, PFT, what's your Fyre Fest?
Well, my apartment just jacked up my rent, so I'm moving back in, signed the official lease, although I did negotiate them down $100 a month, just for the record. But no, my real Fyre Fest is that my body is now fully recovered from New Orleans.
Mine
but
isn't.
But it's not yet. I'm of the mindset that, you know how like underwater divers, when they work on places to like weld super far beneath the ocean surface. They come back up to surface and they spend like 3 days in a decompression chamber before they go out into the real world, or else their body like literally explodes. There needs to be a city that's maybe adjacent to New Orleans that you go to ease yourself back into the real world.
Well, I was saying, because my Fyre Fest is that I just have not recovered, and my body is in shambles, and I just can't. I have no bounce back whatsoever anymore. But I was thinking that we need to have legalized, like, you can be put into a coma for a few days.
Yeah, no,
because then I won't eat. Like, put me in a coma. I won't eat. I'll get some sleep. I'll wake up, and I'll be like, maybe even get that when someone gets in a really bad tackle and they cool their core, cool my core down, put me in a refrigerator for an entire week, and then let me come out of that and be like, all right, you've lost 15 quick pounds. You slept for a week. You're ready to go.
So yeah, I agree. I just think that there should be one location that's known as this like in between reintroducing you to society place. Maybe that spot in Arizona where they keep all the frozen heads, like Ted Williams' head.
Yeah, that
maybe
got knocked over.
Yeah, maybe they have just like a JV version of the cryo chambers where they temporarily freeze you for just like 4 days.
That like reintroduction into society is so hard. On Wednesday I woke up, felt like shit, still feel like shit, but like I had that momentary thought. I was walking my son to school and I was like, man, you know what'd be great is if I could just crack a beer on the street here and just stand on the street. Like we were doing that on Sunday night. We were just standing in the street drinking beers, and it was like, and just talking with guys. It was just like, we're just hanging out. It was like, this is awesome.
We were starting to use the word y'all.
Yeah,
we were just like
in the
getting
street.
really into New Orleans.
Yeah, it was just like
the vibe of it.
Maybe we just it's that feeling you have after a bachelor party when like the Monday or Tuesday and you get that little lull, the depression where you're like, well, it'd be so sick if I just could live with all my best friends. And like you realize that's not real life, but you have that moment where you just want to go back. And I've been struggling with that all week. And also I feel like a sausage that needs to be popped.
So can I give you some advice? What's worked for me is, and this usually works for hangovers in general.
Jerking off?
Well, no, I don't do that. Spicy soup. And yes, I will prescribe soup for anything, but spicy soup, it makes you sweat. And whenever I sweat anything, when I'm feeling bad, I know it's not medically true, but I feel like everything that I'm sweating out is all the stuff inside me that's making me feel bad in the first place.
So
put leeches on.
It would work for me normally, but specifically for New Orleans, the thing I'm struggling with so much is that I just took in so much salt that I just need to. Like I was at the end of that trip, we went out to dinner on that Monday night, and I was eating gumbo like it was a glass of water. It wasn't even. I didn't even order gumbo as like part of the meal. It was more just like, oh, I'm gonna eat the gumbo and then I'll start the meal.
No, gumbo was the table's entire like pre-appetizer.
It wasn't even like bread. It was like bread sticks. You know when they drop off bread sticks and it's like one sliver of a bread stick that does nothing for you. That's what gumbo was. I couldn't even get high off gumbo.
Fortunately for us, we live in the best gumbo city in America.
That's true.
New York City and Manhattan
Jersey
specifically.
City.
Jersey City's gumbo is a little too spicy for me.
Yeah.
I like the New York City gumbo. I actually posted a picture of I don't know if you saw it, but last night I said I was going through gumbo withdrawals. So I posted a picture of the shittiest looking like clear water and boiled chicken and rotini noodles. And I was like, made my own roux tonight. How's it look? The entire city of New Orleans got triggered by it. I'll put the mayo in next time. But yeah, we are. I think as a podcast,
you love trolling food Twitter.
I do. It's the best. We're all like finally approaching normal on this podcast. I feel like Monday we'll all be back. You know what it's going to be?
I'm at 65%.
It's going to be the Master's Nap this weekend.
It's a great
that
couch
brings
weekend.
you back.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm very excited to hang out with my family and just chill. But yeah, no, I'm 65%. Tuesday I was like 5. Wednesday I was maybe like 25. So I've had a nice bounce back, but I'm not there.
I got another group Fyre Fest for us. We all followed an anonymous hot tip and put money on Siwoo Kim because we were told that he should be the odds-on favorite to win the Masters.
One of the dumbest messages ever sent. The guy said his numbers says that Siwoo Kim should actually be minus 140. I pointed out that peak Tiger, the greatest golfer of all time at his absolute best, was like plus 200 to win major tournaments, and he's got Siwoo Kim at minus 140 in his calculations. He's not going to make the cut.
Siwoo Kim's like 4 over right now.
Yeah, he's not going to make the cut.
So I looked him up this morning because I wanted to find out more about him before I drove over to New Jersey to place the bet. This is a guy that I was very excited to root for. Number one, they call him the Seoul Streaker because he's from Seoul, South Korea.
Yep.
So last year at the Masters, he finished tied for 12th, but he did that without a putter on the back nine because he got so mad that he snapped his putter
remember that.
and threw it away. This is a guy that I was born to root for. It turns out he stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Good tip. Got to take it. Billy, what's your Fyre Fest?
So I took the brick of cash to the bank yesterday, and they were counting it all out, and it came out to $2,049.
So you lost $1?
I don't know where the dollar went.
The system has a
Wow,
hole in it.
I feel bad for you.
So then I was like, I had to give him $1 from my pocket,
Oh, no.
which isn't that bad. But it was like crazy. I was like, where the hell did that $1 go?
Wait, you had $1 on it? I thought you didn't like cash.
Wait, you had $1 on you? And you
That was probably
were wondering
the dollar.
where the dollar went?
Well, the dollar.
I think we got to the bottom of this case.
No, but
Solve that one.
The dollar was in my wallet.
Right.
The brick of cash was a brick of cash.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Anyway, so I don't know where that dollar went. And my knees are shot. They just hurt.
No, Billy, you don't get to do that. You're still too young.
My
No.
knees hurt.
No, you don't get to
And
do
you
that.
weren't in New Orleans.
Yeah, you weren't in New Orleans. You don't get to do
My-
that.
my knees.
I hate to be the guy who's like, you're not old, but you're not.
Then why
You
do my
don't-
knees hurt?
Because it's raining.
True.
That's always how it goes.
Tore them a couple times.
You probably haven't been squatting recently either.
No, I have been. That's what
I
it
don't
is.
think you have.
That might be why they hurt.
You hear how defensive you got right there?
Because I've been squatting.
I don't know. It sounds like cap to me.
You're good, Billy. You're still a fucking peak athlete. How old are you? 24?
23.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
just
got,
turned.
Yeah, you got your prime in front of you.
Your body's got like 4 more cycles to go through before your joints actually start hurting.
No, seriously, peak athleticism is like what, 27, 28?
I was.
We'll get there.
We were talking about that the other day. I think 27
Yeah.
is when I can say I peaked athletically.
Yeah, so you're good, Billy. Jake,
It's
finish
very,
us off.
very low peak.
Yeah, my Fyre Fest actually involves you guys.
Uh-oh.
So last week we were at Hogs for the Cause down in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
We were enjoying
Did we leave you there?
No,
Oh.
no.
You could have totally said, like, you guys just left without me, and I'd be like, whoops.
Yeah.
It was a mess there.
Yeah.
A good mess.
No, it was a lot of fun. Great cause. And we were drinking some margaritas responsibly. And PFT and a bunch of others just started telling me that there was THC in it. And I started freaking out. I'm like, wow, it's the night before the Final Four, and I'm just going to be paranoid
You're
and
gonna be so
panicking the rest of the night.
You'll
like,
be so
this
hungover
stinks.
for the games. Yeah.
Not even hungover, just like, damn, this is the night before the Final Four. I'm going to be just bugging out, sitting in the hotel room, can't do
You
anything.
need to have mental clarity.
Like, what if you don't get unhigh?
Right. Like, tip-off happens, and it's like,
What if you just been
Still
high
the ball,
for
the
the rest
ball's
of your
tipped and it
life?
won't come down. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but it was like 20 minutes of panicking until I found out you guys were just busting my balls.
It was a
All
good
right.
prank. It was a
Yeah.
good prank. We got everybody involved.
I wouldn't have done that to
just
you. I
mess-
wasn't.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank and
No, big-
Liam
big
and
cat-
PFT were part of
big
this.
No, I
cat
would have said it was
definitely
heroin.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
great though because Jake was like, he was asking me all these questions like, how is my body going to handle this? What should I be prepared for? I guess somebody told him I had experience in that for some reason, and so I was like walking him through, and he was like, I'm just gonna have to like sit down and just like stare straight ahead and just try to keep it together for the next couple hours. I was like, Jake, you can do it. Let me know if you need it.
Plus, like, we were there representing the company. I didn't want to, like,
I actually
do
heard
anything
through the
stupid.
grapevine you were fucked up.
yeah,
Yeah.
wasted
There's
responsibly.
Yeah, so I mean, Dave was saying on the live stream, he's like, I like Jake, but like every time I see him, that kid's just messed up.
On the moon.
And so we can't have him
Yeah.
on live streams because he'll just say whatever.
Yeah, he said to me, he pulled me aside and he was like, when I say we're going to take Barstool to the moon, why does Jake take that literally every day? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it was a good prank. Worked out.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Love it.
it was fun. It was all in good fun, Jake.
Yeah, all good.
All right. Numbers. And good luck this weekend on all your Masters bets and whatnot.
I'm
and
going to take
hopefully Scott
67.
Mampel.
67
25.
22.
in honor of par for Bryson.
The usual.
You have to say it for it to
69.
count. You can't because like it's a played out joke, so you have to keep doing it.
I know.
Yeah, you can't be like the usual. I'm going to make you say 69 every time.
It's been 3 years. 2 years.
You have not. Oh, you got it once. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
No, I got 3
he
times.
kept it in
twice.
his barn for 7 months.
No.
86.
Oh my God.
86. All
Love
right,
you
we'll
guys.
see everyone Monday.
Dingoes are descendants of domesticated dogs brought by Aboriginal peoples.
Love you guys.